Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Political Vigilante broadcast live from Election Day. Wait, hold on a sec. I'll be right back. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Political Vigilante Election Coverage 2020. Boom, 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 boom. This is where the graphics fly in. Decision 2020. Dun, 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 dun. With Grab Elwood, a name you can trust. Hello, Melissa H. Hello, Backyard Wine Chat, Victoria B. Tell Victoria B. Tell Lee Camp I said hello. Truth to Tweet. Sharif Snugs, what's up? Pew 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 pew. Alex Allen. Who did I vote for? I wrote in Jesse the Body Ventura. Please hit the like button, ladies and gentlemen. Share this out on your social media. Shave your knuckles for justice. Bum, bum. Also simulcasting on Rockfin and on Ron's YouTube channel. I was going to do the Facebook channel, but I can only do three destinations. So I thought, well, let's let Ron get a little taste. Bum, 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 bum. Bum, 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 bum. Ladies and gentlemen, live election coverage. Tune in. All right, let's find the best map, everybody, that shows us election coverage. Going to be Ron Placone on in a second. Sharif Snug, shave your knuckles for justice, my friend. In the spirit of Election Day, who was the worst president since Ronald Reagan? Oh, George W. was pretty bad. Obama let 6 million foreclosures happen and bomb the Middle East a shit ton. But Trump's pretty awful. I don't know. It's a toss-up. It's a toss-up. That's a great question. Who's the worst? That's what it's got to do. Here it comes. Bernie wins. That'd be great. Yeah, I'll be on Natural Progressive tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Pacific time. The Uphill Media Natural Progressive thing. I bought Greg Pelz's book and I get to give it to 2 people. Outstanding. You got a notification for Ron, but not me, of course. Ron Placone, welcome to the show from Get Your News On with Ron, ladies and gentlemen.
What's up, Graham?
Live at the Political Vigilante World Election Headquarters. I'm joined via satellite uplink with Ron Placone. Ron, are people eating themselves as cannibals yet where you are?
Nope. So far, I mean, I just went outside a few hours ago for a jog, and things looked relatively normal. But got a little bit of breaking something here. It looks like with what's tallied so far, 67% has been reported. But it looks like, and this should come as no surprise, Mitch McConnell is victorious in Kentucky. Turns out running a pro-Trump Democrat didn't work out. They screwed over the progressive that might have given Mitch a run for his money. But the pro-Trump Democrat, it looks like she's going to lose. So,
of course,
here's this story again. And shout out to Holly who nodded me on that story.
It's what happens. It's run an actual populist in Kentucky, a real progressive populist, and guess what? You might win.
Mm-hmm. But
you might,
lo and behold.
Win.
So even Mitch McConnell called her out for like having no policies. Even Mitch McConnell was like, all she has is she's not me. And I've been here for too long. Like even Mitch McConnell was able, and I mean, it was a bad debate overall because he's pretty like bad at speaking to people. It's amazing he has his job, but like even he called it out where it's like, she doesn't really stand for anything. He wouldn't have been able to do that to Booker if had his opponent been Booker.
I know. Booker would have clocked him, man. Like it's but that's what the Democrats, they need Mitch McConnell as much as the Republicans need Nancy Pelosi. They need these two professional wrestling characters to help fundraise.
He's great for fundraising and they know it. He's great. And they'd rather have
she's great for fundraising for the Republicans. The Republicans go, oh, socialist Nancy Pelosi. And they believe the bullshit too. Just like the dummy Democrat vote any blue will do people believe that McConnell is the real problem, not Pelosi, not the system, not the duopoly, not these two corrupt parties. It's one guy, one guy in Kentucky. That's the guy. That's the problem. Not the donors. Not the corporations. It's Mitch McConnell. And then the Republicans think that Nancy Pelosi is the one thing standing in the way of them getting jobs or whatever. It's goddamn. I don't know why people can be so stupid. But it's election day in America. I'm trying to bring up like a nice interactive map and I just can't find any.
New York Times usually has an okay one. I mean, right now, I was watching like a few things right before we signed on here. Right now, most things are too early to call. They've called a couple like very obvious states, like Indiana went to Trump. I think Vermont went to Biden. They called a couple other smaller East Coast states went to Biden, but there's been no surprises thus far. So when you watch the cable news thing, basically what they do, if you want us to interact it for you, they're like, hey, most things are too close to call. So here's some bullshit Midwest statistics our interns looked up for us. And then they just talk about it. You can watch Chuck Todd work on an interactive map, which looks, it reminded me a lot of like a toddler figuring out toys for the first time, except there was nothing adorable or cute about it because it's not a toddler, it's Chuck Todd. But
well, here's the map that New York Times has right now.
So no surprises.
So Indiana, they haven't declared it yet, but on this, according to this map.
Oh, see, I heard Indiana they called. I mean, it's probably going to be red, but yeah, I guess on this map they didn't call it.
But I mean, in Illinois, they're already calling it Joe Biden when he's losing significantly.
So they probably didn't tally in Chicago yet.
Right.
So, yeah, I mean, yeah, so far, Virginia, I mean, now, if they're calling Virginia for Biden, that would be the first surprise. I mean, Virginia's a toss-up state.
Well, this is what's peculiar here. When you scroll over it, as you see here, Joe Biden only has 39% of the votes and Trump has 58%, and it's 29% of estimated votes reported. So Trump has a significant lead.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think the way they do that stuff is they kind of anticipate the, rural versus urban areas, and then they make a guesstimate. I feel like Virginia, even with that being the case, could potentially change unless they've like called it like it's a verdict, because I mean, that's a toss-up state. I could see it going blue, but I could also totally see it going red.
Right.
South Carolina, that's Trump's going to win South Carolina. I mean, none of these states. I know some people are saying Tennessee might be a toss-up, but I mean, I used to live in Nashville. That's a tough state, just with the overall makeup of that state. So I'm not surprised Tennessee went red. Oklahoma going to go red. So with exception to Virginia, there's nothing surprising right now on this map. A lot of those northeastern states, they're going to be blue.
Right. Jersey, they're already giving. Connecticut, Massachusetts, right. But this is peculiar because Virginia, they're already saying it's Biden, but he's trailing significantly. But maybe what you're saying is all of the rural Trump counties are in. So I don't know. This is really.
Yeah, I mean, if that stays, that's the first kind of whoa, okay, that was out there. And I'll say this, let's say hypothetically that Virginia stays the way it is, and that's a Biden state. If Biden gets North Carolina too, it's a game changer. I mean, that's a game changer as far as the election concerns. If he picks up both Virginia and North Carolina, because he'll get the rest of the Northeast, and I have a feeling out of Pennsylvania and Ohio and Michigan, I have a feeling he'll potentially get 2 of those. Definitely 1 out of 3. He's not going to not get all 3. He might only get 1 out of 3, but I could see him getting 2. I could see him getting Pennsylvania and Michigan, maybe just Michigan. But I don't see him losing all 3 of those. So, I mean, if you throw Virginia, if North Carolina goes blue, and then if one of Pennsylvania, Michigan, Ohio goes blue, which I think is likely, that's pretty heavily favored towards Biden then if that happens. I don't know if it will, but
I'm just curious how they're doing this math, because North Carolina, Biden has a lead, has 54% of the votes, and 60% have reported, but they're not calling it. But Virginia, Biden is trailing by almost 20 points and 20 percentage points, and yet they're predicting he's going to win it.
Yeah, I mean, I think they do it by trends and past results, typically, depending on the county and stuff like that. And it's kind of, I mean, at this point, there's still a reasonable grain of salt with everything, at least the way I see it.
Mm-hmm.
But, I guess
Florida is 90% of the votes are tallied, and Trump has a 2%. It's 50-48 right now, Trump.
I saw that. I heard, Florida is very, very close right now, which is, that'll be, I mean, hey, I'll say this. I don't think Biden gets Florida. I think Trump's going to win Florida. But if Biden were to win Florida, I don't see Biden losing. I think the election's over if Biden gets Florida.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think, unless there is some crazy surprise on the other side, like Trump gets California or something, which I don't see that happening. I don't think that's going to happen. So assuming that doesn't happen, if Biden gets Florida, I think it's over. Add that. I mean, who knows? I mean, maybe this is going to be, I think we mentioned this on the phone. At this point, it's almost impossible to even guess in the moment we're living in. And, just the way this pandemic has just shook everything up completely. And I'll say this, man, I think that it was interesting. I was watching CBS because, why not? We all like to just give ourselves some pain today. And I was watching CBS, and they were doing exit polls, which I think exit polls in many ways are some of the more reliable things out there, because it's literally people are physically going and they're asking them questions and they're talking to them. Now, that, of course, is virtual this year because of the pandemic. But nonetheless, it's like people who have voted, who are there, you're asking them questions. And in some of the exit polling they did, I was watching this segment. In the exit polling that they did, they go, so our exit polls have revealed that 73% of people care most about issues right now. Only about 23% care more about personality than issues, and the rest the rest of the people in that survey are neutral, right? So they have that. 2 minutes later, Tom Perez gets on. They interview Tom Perez, and why does that guy always sound like he just got done visiting a dominatrix? Like, why does he say? And no judge, if that's your thing, I'm not judging you. I'm just saying that's what he sounds like. He sounds like he just got done saying, "I like it when you spank me. I'd like it. Don't ash the cigarette in my mouth. I don't like that. But do it on my arm instead." Like, he looks like he sounds like he just got done doing that all the time. And so anyway,
do it on my arm.
Do it on my arm instead, not my mouth this time. So he gets on there and he's like, and they're like, so what's the key to victory to Biden? 2 minutes after they just talked about this exit poll where it's like people actually give a shit about issues and policies that affect their lives and not as much about personality. Right after that, and he was basically just going, we got this in the bag because people don't like Trump. People don't like him. Look at these Republicans. Look at the Lincoln Project. He actually said that. He said, look at the Lincoln Project. And then he started bringing up compassionate conservatives as the supposed opposition to that. He's bringing up compassionate conservatives, the branding bullshit that Dick Cheney shoved down our throats. And if this is an indicator of how insanely, grossly disconnected like our system is. And I mean, hey, Fox News put out a poll today. Fox News, of all places. The majority of people, what do they want? They want universal health care. In fact, they even branded it as government-run healthcare. That's how they branded it on Fox News. And over 70% of people still said frickin' yes.
Of course, Fox News viewers want that.
Fox News! The majority of people wanted something done about climate change. The majority of people wanted something done about systemic racism. The majority of people think our government should be doing more. This is Fox News frickin' viewers saying this. And, yet you have two candidates that are overwhelmingly ignoring that public opinion.
Overwhelmingly. Like, it's unbelievable. Like, Fox News viewers want this. So if there was a candidate running that said, look, I'm going to give you free healthcare in the middle of this pandemic, they would have it. They would be running away with it. They would be winning all these. It would be the craziest thing. Like, again, if Bernie was running right now, he would take these. I mean, he would pull up all these red states. He'd potentially get Texas or something like that. Like, he would just get these places where you'd be like, how did he do that? Like, oh my God, he won North Dakota. Whoa, well, he campaigned there. Like, it'd be like, huh? Like, it's crazy, man.
I think he would have gotten Texas. I think Bernie would have gotten Texas.
Yeah, I think for sure.
And I think Bernie struggled a little bit in Florida. I don't know. I think there's a chance Trump still would have gotten Florida, but I think Bernie would have gotten something crazy out there like Texas. I think Bernie would have gotten North Carolina. And I think Bernie would have picked off a decent amount of the Midwest. I think Bernie would have gotten Pennsylvania. I think he could have gotten Ohio too.
Yeah. Yep.
But so I mean, yeah, it's just peculiar to me just how like in your face it's just like they're ignoring public opinion. And it's just par for the course.
Yeah.
I'm trying to see if there's any other like big drops in news right now, but so far it's nothing surprising. McGrath lost. The pro-Trump Democrat lost.
Of course.
Mitch McConnell ain't going anywhere anytime soon. And, we're not going to know anything about the West Coast anytime soon because it's still only 5:30 here.
Right.
So we're not going to know. I mean, some folks are asking about Shahid, Angelica, Duena, stuff like that. We're not going to know anything about that for a while. I love this. I retweeted this photo. Someone else tweeted it first. Here, let me try to give credit to the person who tweeted it. Let's see here. Scrolling down my Accidental Zen is where I saw this first on Twitter. So shout out to them if they're watching. Accidental Zen on Twitter. They took a screenshot of their television, and their television said, West Virginia Senate winner, Shelley Moore Capito, the Republican candidate, against Paula Jean Swearingen. So they're already declaring Shelley Moore Capito the winner. Guess how many votes have been reported, Graham? 0. 0%. I mean, it literally says 0%, 0 votes. It just says nothing. And they're just like, the Republican won. They haven't even started. They just already declared her the loser. It's like, you got to be kidding. And Paula Jean's one of the people I'm rooting for. I mean, Paula Jean's on my list of grassroots candidates that I'm really excited about. I think it'd be amazing if she won. And so, you know, I don't know. Hopefully she makes them regret that graphic. Hopefully West Virginia hands her a victory.
Yeah. Yeah. Mitch McConnell wins 7th term in Senate. That's in. Oh.
that's the appropriate reaction. Mitch McConnell.
These people are so beatable, man. They're so beatable. They're so beatable. Mitch McConnell is so beatable.
Yeah.
You get a lefty, pro-labor, populist, grew up in Kentucky.
Kentucky's a big union state.
I know.
People don't really, like, Kentucky's a big freaking union state. And if you don't know that, you must have never been there. You must have never been, which, you know, I know a lot of people, like, you may not have ever been to Kentucky before. That's fine if you haven't. I'm just saying. But I have been there. I've done shows there. You've done shows there. One of my favorite shows we ever done was actually our show in Louisville. That's where I recorded my album. I love that show. That venue was so freaking cool. But, Kentucky, they make a lot of whiskey there. They still have a lot of production there. There's still a lot of, it is a union strong place. It is still a big deal there.
It's also a place too that has had mine. And like, that's a place where if you came in with the right type of populism, pro-labor populism, you could sell them on a Green New Deal.
Yeah.
They're outdoors people. They would, you go to those outdoors people and that you'd show them, you go, because they're going to tell you, well, this stream's contaminated. And you say, I'm going to fix that. I'm going to close this factory down and you're going to get a better job. We're in green energy, whatever. Like, you get a local that knows Kentucky, that understands the environment and can put it in a language that that people in that area can get. They'll do it. But there's no opposition party.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, totally. Because it's like, I think what a lot of people don't understand is so many people in rural America, they feel like their choice is get sick or don't have a job.
Right.
They feel like it's like, yeah, I know that these pipelines aren't good. I know that fracking's not good and coal's not good, but what else am I going to do? That's my only option. And it's like, if you say, no, we have a green option for you. We have a sustainable green job for you. And we're going to fix these streams. We're going to fix this land. They want to hear that, man. You know what else a lot of people in places like Kentucky do? A lot of people grow their own food.
Yeah.
They know the land. They can probably speak to that, better than you and I can. Yeah. They grow their food. They understand the soil. They understand that stuff. They're open to a Green New Deal. But you run a pro-Trump Democrat against a Republican, what do you think people are going to do?
Yeah. It's nuts, man. It's really just like, but they can't, the Democrats, as we've talked about so many times, if they let progressives take over the party, they lose all their money. And I mean, you've gotten 1,000 emails. So have I. They're still sending me these goddamn emails to donate for this this Democratic bullshit and that Democrat. And I'm sure Republican voters are getting the same bunch of bullshit. It's a filthy scam to just milk American people out of all this money to participate in this, whatever. It's just like sports or professional wrestling. It's like Vegas. So the way sports betting works is Vegas just wants an equal number of people to bet on either team. That's how Vegas wins.
Yeah.
So that's how, this billions of dollars in ad time and donation, it just funds this whole corrupt political system. It funds all these shitty networks. It funds all of these pundits and these polls and all this bullshit. It just funds this whole corrupt thing.
whenever I get those text messages, sometimes, do you ever get the ones where it's like they don't get your first name right, where they're like, "Hey, what's up, Mark?"
Yeah.
And you're like, I love those, and I always want to respond and give the person a story. Yeah, I got one like, "Hey, Tim, can we count on your vote?" And I'm like, "I am gonna do the thing I've been doing since 1994. I am writing in the rent is too damn high party. I'm Tim, motherfuckers. I am Tim."
Oh,
Are we both drinking water from mason jars? Like
yes,
you
we
do.
are.
Nice. This is
Folks, great way to support the show. Hit the like button, ladies and gentlemen. We have 294 people watching, 157 likes. Let's get the likes up there. Also, you can, if you do what Sharif Snuggs did, hit the dollar icon button. That's a great way to support the show. I will answer your question and talk about whatever. And if those of you don't want to support on YouTube, which I get, you don't want to give to the Google. Someone's asking if I was on Crosstalk. No, I'm going to be on Crosstalk at 9:00 Pacific time. RT has a million channels going, but I will be on Crosstalk at 9:00 Pacific time to answer that question. But also, some people feel more comfortable donating on Venmo. My Venmo is at Graham Elwood, at Graham-Elwood. So check that out. And I will answer your question if you donate. All right, let's answer this. Hey, good. You came over from Lee's chat. Hope Lee had a good live stream. I know he's going to be going on and off tonight. Owen John Zone, Shave Your Knuckles for Justice. Can I plug my album, Hazy Toad's Second Breakfast by Yowling Toad on Bandcamp? I think you guys would like it. F Biden, F Trump, you guys rock. Absolutely, folks.
I like the name.
I like the name too.
Yowling Toad. That's badass, man. I dig that.
Support an independent artist.
I'm going to write it down.
Vote with your dollars. So support an independent artist. That's the best $5 in marketing you've ever spent, Owen. God bless you.
Well, I'm gonna. I mean, I recently got contacted. I'll mention this really quick since music came up. I got contacted by an online network called Modern Retro Radio, which I'll be making more announcements about this soon. But they contacted me. They wanted me to do a punk rock special for them, where I make a playlist and I just tell a little bit about each song. So I did it. I recorded it, and my special with them is going to drop on November 14th at 7 p.m. Pacific time, 10 p.m. Eastern time. So I'm going to be announcing a listening party online. I'll be putting the information on Twitter, on Facebook, on my YouTube, on my website. But the online network is Modern Retro Radio, and I am going to have a punk rock special on that. And also, I'm going to be making a Spotify playlist of my playlist for that special. And the reason I bring this up is like maybe I'll be doing more of that stuff, depending. I mean, I had a lot of fun doing it, so I don't know if it'll become a regular thing or if I'll be doing a regular music thing on some other vehicle. But anyway, yeah. So by all means, folks, let me know about your music if you're making some music.
Check that out. It's a tribute to Howlin' Wolf.
I love Howlin' Wolf.
Hazy Toad's Second Breakfast by Yowlin' Toad. I like me some Howlin' Wolf myself, buddy.
Dude, you know a beautiful thing. I know you love talking music, so we should probably stay on this for like the next hour and a half. But like, No, it's a beautiful. I mean, Howlin' Wolf. It's a beautiful thing, and then I'm done. There's a video, you can totally find it on YouTube. It was like one of Howlin' Wolf's first. I think it was like one of. It might have been I think it was on British TV, but it might have actually been in the States, and it might have just been when the Stones were big enough that they were already in the States. But you see the Rolling Stones, you see Keith Richards and Mick Jagger. They're really young, and they're just watching Howlin' Wolf. It's on this TV show, and they're just watching Howlin' Wolf do his thing. And I think at this point they're more famous than he is overall, but he's their hero. I mean, they were big blues guys. The Rolling Stones, like they were before they were these famous rock stars. They were these nerdy blues nerds who would go to these underground cafes in England, rocking out to blues music, which was not necessarily like King Cool to do. I mean, it was kind of hip, yeah, but it wasn't like King Cool. But they were doing it because they loved American blues music. So Howlin' Wolf was their freaking hero. And you see Mick Jagger and Keith Richards just looking up at Howlin' Wolf like little kids looking up at Santa Claus or something. It's a beautiful thing. And of course, you know, the voice Howlin' Wolf had. I mean, that's an appropriate reaction. That dude's pipes were superhuman. They were amazing.
Yeah. Just strolling through the Twitter, seeing what we're finding over here.
Here's a little bit of breaking for us, and this is not good news. Right now, with the percentage of votes that are in, there's not been a ton reported. But right now in Maine, Susan Collins is up with 68% of the vote. Sarah Gideon, the Democrat, is in second, with 25% of the vote. And Lisa Savage, the Independent Green, only has 4.4% of the vote. Now, only a couple of counties have been reported, so there's still a long way to go. But things are not looking great in Maine right now. And the reason that is, not only is that noteworthy because Lisa's a great candidate who would be an excellent addition to the Senate, but because Maine has ranked choice voting. So, this is really a chance to really make a case for ranked choice voting, to really make a case for third parties. And so it's a little discouraging to see her that far down, but hopefully that changes.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff to be with the influx. This is the single largest mail-in voting election that's ever happened in America. Obviously, it's because of COVID, but so it's going to depend on each state. The states that are going to keep counting past today is going to really determine. Some of these down ballot races might change in a week or something like that. And it all depends on how each state tallies its votes, how quickly it tallies its votes, how many mail-in ballots it got, how many they're going to count, how many they're going to count, how many they're going to discount, all that other stuff. So let's go to this story. Go green. I voted green. Good for you. I voted green. I wrote in Jesse Ventura in California, and I voted green in several down ballot votes. Let's share this screen right here. Photos of campaign posters at Philadelphia polling places are deliberately deceptive, the city's district attorney office says. The Office of Philadelphia District Attorney Larry Krasner refuted claims of electoral law violations after a photograph of a pro-Democrat poster showing a sample ballot outside a polling station in Northeast Philadelphia was shared online. The photos were taken from separate polling places, according to NBC News, and BuzzFeed News reported that the poster in question was not hung within 10 feet of the polling place, which would be an illegal violation. Interesting. Members of our election task force investigated this allegation. The polling place is located in an interior room, and the sign in question is further than 10 feet from it. The tweet is deliberately deceptive. Oh, look at that. A deliberately deceptive.
But is that the sign in question there at that photo down below?
You can see the check-in table booths right through the window. There's no other door to enter once you enter through the door with the sign at the polling place. So what's deceptive about this tweet? What about the hundreds of other polling places with this garbage? Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it is past 10 feet, but that is a little suspect, man. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, wasn't there that other issue where like they were worried about how close Kamala Harris was standing to that thing? Do you remember that?
No.
Oh, okay. I think it was like she was as far away as she needed to be, but some people were saying like, oh, she might not have been, but she was, far enough away.
Right. Breaking: first illegal sign has been taken down in Pennsylvania.
Oh, I guess they decided it was too close.
And just putting signs up outside polling places. Who's the dipshit doing that? It's so dumb.
I think it was probably, I don't know. Russia, I think, did it probably.
I would say Russia probably.
Russia probably. I mean, that's probably They were like, we're going to sow some discontent by putting a sign that looks like it was made a couple minutes ago way too close to where it shouldn't be. What's the Connor Lamb tweet about?
Yeah, so this is somebody claiming that this is within 5 feet of the door to the polling place in Pittsburgh. It's a Trump supporter, obviously, but so the Democrats could be doing this and it's bad. It also could be Republicans doing this to make the Democrats look bad. I don't trust either one of these rat fuck parties.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Connor Lamb went to my high school. Have I ever told you about that?
No.
Yeah. Yeah, he went to my high school. I didn't really know him, but he went to my high school. I mean, I knew who he was, but
somebody said it could be Iran. I think that's a valid. I'm sure Iran posted those signs. Or Venezuela. We should probably invade them now, right? Over a couple of signs and take.
Well, let's not write off China. Let's not forget about them.
China. That's a forget about sign. I mean, they brought the virus here.
Yeah, we have a whole new list of places that need to be our enemy now.
Yes. I think all those are valid. So far, Vermont has gone all blue except for the governor. This according to, let's go to the big board, Rod. Let's go to the New York Times big board and see what they have for us. As we check the big board here, we're going to refresh the big board, ladies and gentlemen. Here's what we've got. Presidential election results. Still no, they're only, what's this stupid?
Collapse that. We don't need that New York Times. So we know about you.
This is very puzzling to me. So Joe Biden, is trailing by 17 points in Virginia, and they're projecting that he might be the winner. Now, he was trailing at 20-some points when we checked a half hour ago. So this might be what you're talking about. All of the districts that are probably going to go for Trump have already voted, and they're totaling the districts that are probably going to go for Biden. All those districts that, in Virginia and South Carolina that voted for Biden, even though Bernie won in the exit polls, it's probably all those districts, so that's interesting. So, but then North Carolina, this is critical here. Let's go deep into North Carolina, Ron.
Let's do it.
So now 70% of the estimated votes have been reported. And right now, Biden has roughly a 4 to 5 point lead.
So what all in, dude, I don't know how, let me see. So Raleigh, so far, so I'm guessing that blue area, well, wait, it looks like that's that little blue dot closer to the corner. That's probably Asheville, right? Or Asheville-ish.
Yeah.
Okay. And then you got Charlotte, and then you got the Raleigh, the Tri-Cities area, and then Fayetteville. So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, it depends on some of these rural counties outside of those, out of the Tri-City areas. It looks like a lot of the blue places have already been accounted for, the places that are typically blue. The blue dots.
It's all these counties in here that are up for grabs. Like how red or how blue they're going to go.
Yeah.
Going to determine this state.
Yeah, and as far as like those areas are concerned, the obvious blue dots are kind of like a lot of your college areas, your Raleigh, Durham's, your Asheville, which it looks like at least a majority of that has been counted. But how far blue do the counties go? That I'm not sure. I don't know all the anatomies of all the counties in North Carolina by any means, but it looks like most of the blue areas have been counted, but there might be some neighboring counties that also tend to go a little blue that haven't been.
So this is all of Virginia, and they're saying that this is a lot of these parts of Virginia are DC. Some of them are like people that work in DC that live down in here.
Right. So those are. It looks like some of those haven't been counted.
Right.
Which that might be why they're saying Biden's going to get this thing. If most of Virginia's reported and it's relatively close, but the only thing they're missing is the DC suburbs, then there's a good chance the Democrat gets Virginia. Because, the DC suburbs are going to be more blue. These maps, sure. Did you make your own map, Graham? I played with one for a little bit, and then I got bored pretty quick.
I don't know how to do that.
No, there's this website you go. It's like 270 to win or something like that, and you just click it, and you can like make your own thing. I was gonna make a goof one just for shits and giggles, because like you can make them neutral if you want to, which is like it's just this gold color. And I was gonna just to be a goober, I was gonna make like all of them I was gonna make all of them yellow and then just make like Utah blue or something random like that and be like, here's my final prediction.
Well, let's go to Pennsylvania.
It's actually a pain in the ass, so I didn't bother doing it.
Yeah, who's got time to make some weird map? Here's Pennsylvania. 13% of electoral of the estimated votes reported. Currently, Biden has a pretty big lead right now. He's got a 37-point lead, but only 13% of the precincts are. So Pittsburgh right now is heavily leaning Trump, but again, this will be like
really
votes.
Here, let me see. So wait, they're saying Washington County's leaning blue, Allegheny County's leaning red?
Yeah.
That's probably going to change. I mean, I can't imagine. I mean, Washington County is a much more rural Republican area, and Allegheny County is the city of Pittsburgh. It tends to lean a lot more Democratic.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, we'll see when the dust finally settles there. But I mean, I could see. I mean, Trump had some really big rallies in Pennsylvania. You had the newspaper of note, the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette, endorsed Trump. That made national news because it's the first time that newspaper endorsed a Republican in a very long time. But the person who wrote the editorial was like one of Trump's golfing buddies. So, they've been getting a lot of cancellations because of it. Like they've been getting just calls in droves of people canceling their subscriptions and what have you. It's been a pretty lousy newspaper for a long time. So I say good riddance, but yeah, Pennsylvania is going to be a big wild card. It went red in 2016 for the first time since 1988. That's the first time Pennsylvania went red in a presidential since 88 was 2016, where it went for Trump. And, it's one of those things. Hillary hung out in the city. She hung out in Pittsburgh. She hung out in Philly, where she knew she was going to do well. What did Trump do? Trump went to the middle. And he made a bunch of bullshit promises. I'm going to reopen the steel mills. I'm going to do this. It was all a bunch of lies. But people who have been out of work for a long time, who were really suffering, they bought it, or they took a chance on it at least. And Trump won Pennsylvania. That's why it's not a mistake, folks, that Joe Biden reminds you that he grew up some in Scranton. Yeah. Every chance he gets. I'm the Scranton guy. I'm the Scranton guy. I'm the Scranton guy. I'm the Scranton guy. There's a reason he kept saying that, because he knows he needs Pennsylvania, and he knows that to get Pennsylvania, you need a little bit of the middle. You can't just hang out in the cities. You need a little bit of the middle too. That's why it's a swing state.
Yeah. So here's now we're in Ohio. Ohio has 52% of the estimated votes reporting. Currently, Biden has 8 to 9 point, looks like a 9-point lead right now with 52% voting, because the big Cleveland, Akron, Toledo, Columbus, Dayton, and Cincinnati are all where the big cities are. And that's where all these votes are coming in for Biden. So there's several counties, looks like about a half a dozen counties that haven't even reported. It'll just depend on how many people live there.
Yeah. I mean, if all the city counties are reported and Biden's only up by a little bit, I mean, I think there's probably a good chance that Biden does not get Ohio then.
Right.
I mean, because it's like, that's where Biden's going to clean up around the cities, Cleveland, Cincinnati, Toledo, and Columbus. It looks like pretty much a lot of those are in. So, and even Cincinnati, I mean, that can be a little purple, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, I would predict that Trump's going to win Ohio. Like that's my guess, is that Trump wins Ohio. And looking at these results, I still would lean that way, that Trump's going to win Ohio. I think the big ones are going to be, I think the biggest one is Pennsylvania. And to an extent, Michigan, although I think Michigan's going to go blue this time. I'd be surprised if Michigan went red. I wouldn't be shocked, but I'd be surprised. I'm expecting Michigan to probably go blue this time.
So this is an interesting thing with Ohio. Postmarked ballots have until November 13th to arrive, meaning as long as they're postmarked by today, but no additional results will be reported for at least a week and a half. Now, some latest updates, according to the New York Times, they're saying Trump wins Nebraska, wins Wyoming, he wins South Dakota. Of course, nobody.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Trump won all those?
Shocking news.
The Republican won those states. Oh my, guys, you'll remember this for the rest of your lives. Where were you when you found out that the Republican won Wyoming and the Dakotas?
I know. So it's 6 o'clock on the East Coast, or on the West Coast, which means it's 9 o'clock on the East Coast. So all the East Coast polls are closed. All of Michigan, Texas, as well as Arizona and Colorado, Minnesota, New York, Wisconsin, and several other states are now all closed because it is 8 o'clock in the Midwest and 7 o'clock in the mountain states. So some people's polls are closed. So let's go back to the big map now, Ron.
Let's do it.
This is where they're declaring New York a win with, whatever. Massachusetts. So right now, Biden has 119, Trump has 94. So Michigan is 15% reported. Right now, Trump has a 20-point lead in Michigan. That's with 15% of votes reported. Let's look at that state. So, well, yeah.
Yeah, Michigan, we're not really seeing anything right now. I mean, yeah, Ann Arbor is going to be more blue.
And here's the thing. In Michigan, officials have said full unofficial results could take until November 6th. It may, if many mail ballots are outstanding at the end of the night, the reported totals could be relatively stronger for Republicans. Interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, well, let me put it this way. I think that if Michigan goes red again, there's some significant suppression going on, which of course is possible. I mean, I think that's how it happened in 2016. I mean, they purged the hell out of Detroit. And I mean, we might see that same thing happen again.
No one's talking about this, but look at this now. 65% of Texas votes are in. It's a dead heat, basically. You've got 50,000 votes. So Biden is a slim lead.
If Biden takes Texas, I think this thing's over.
It's over.
But I'll believe it when I see it, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like if there was like 99% reporting and it was a dead heat, and then you told me the only thing left to count is Austin, then I'd be like, holy shit, Biden's going to win Texas. But I think that's the only scenario where I would prematurely be like, a Democrat's going to win Texas. That's like the only scenario is like 99%. Austin's the only thing left.
Well, El Paso hasn't been counted yet. That's a border town. You've got all these rural counties, most of which will probably go for Trump. Fort Worth right now is very slow. I mean, you're talking about 700 some votes. Trump has a 700 vote lead right now in Fort Worth with 80% of votes reported. Dallas looks like is going to Biden, that area. Houston has 82%. Travis County and Williamson County, these are the two counties surrounding Austin. So the Travis County, where Austin is in, is this, obviously it's going heavy for Biden. San Antonio is pretty heavy for Biden right now. So it's going to really come to these big So El Paso could be the big wild card because all these rural areas, you know, it depends on how many people live out there. But if a couple of these border districts, I don't know, if El Paso goes to Biden heavily, that could swing it. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
Just something to think about.
Yeah.
Florida looks like it's leaning towards Trump right now.
So far, we do not have any confirmed surprises. I mean, Biden, I was leaning Trump's probably going to get Florida. It looks like he's likely going to. I'd be shocked if Biden got Texas. Yeah, I mean, so far, the big wild card. Virginia, that's still, if that stands and Biden wins Virginia, that's definitely something. That's not like game over, but it's like, okay, that's something. But then, you know, I mean, Trump could still, you know, there's still a lot up for grabs for Trump.
There's some interesting stuff here. Like Biden has a lead in Missouri. Biden has a lead in Kansas. He has a big lead in Missouri. And a, 7-point lead in Kansas. So that's interesting. And Kansas has 37% reporting and Missouri has 11% reporting.
I got a little bit of breaking news for us whenever you're ready.
All right, let's jump off the big map. Ron Placone,
ready for the
what is
break?
your breaking news? Ron Placone.
So shout out to Ken for tweeting this at me, and I saw it. You're going to love this headline, Graham. This is great. QAnon supporter Marjorie Taylor Greene just won a seat in Congress. Republican Marjorie Taylor Greene is the first candidate who has openly supported QAnon to reach Congress.
In what district?
Georgia's 14th.
Jesus, man.
First candidate who has openly supported QAnon to reach Congress. Greene, a Republican who said QAnon is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to take this global cabal of Satan-worshipping pedophiles out, won virtually unopposed after her Democratic rival, Kevin Van Ostel, announced he was withdrawing from the race in September. She also has a history of making racist, anti-Semitic, and Islamophobic comments. While Greene won easily, Van Ostel's name remained on the ballot and garnered over 20% of the vote on Tuesday. So the guy who was like, hey, I'm not doing this, I'm not running, still got 20% of the vote. And a QAnon supporter just won a seat in Congress. Now, you know, again, her quote here, it's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to take this global cabal of Satan-worshipping pedophiles out. The very sad thing here, and I know, Graham, you have done a lot more content on this topic than I have, but I think we all know the very sad thing here is that child trafficking is very, very real. You know, pedophilia, of course, is very, very real and a rampant problem. And when you take it to this place where you think Donald Trump is some savior trying to unmask this big thing, and you take it to this ridiculous level of absurdity, less people are susceptible to some real messages that are out there. People do use code. Yeah. You know, it does happen. The FBI, I mean, there's been research done on this stuff. They do use code. There are things that are very peculiar and disturbing that are worth looking into and worth investigating. And now if you just ask those critical questions, you know, you're more likely to be dismissed because of absurdity like this.
What you're saying to me supports and I think it's more than a theory because there's like, you know, WikiLeaks has some documents and I still haven't had a chance to go through them, but it lends itself to the fact that QAnon is a psyop. Because one of the things you do when you're guilty of a legitimate awfulness, like let's say you're part of the billionaire sex trafficking ruling class, the pedophile ruling class, putting QAnon out there is actually great because then what it does is it lumps in. It's why they put the crazy conspiracies out there. And then anyone that's doing real investigative journalism, you get lumped into. So if I sit here and talk about the evidence that I've seen in the Podesta emails and in the flight logs of the connection of the Clintons and Trump to Epstein, I am then lumped into this same crazy category. And so that it makes it then seem that the actual, the cabal of, and many of them probably are satanic sex trafficking pedophiles. So now I'm lumped into the same category as the like Alex Jones, whatever, flat earther, lizard people. I'm just looked at as a wingnut. Look, they did that. If you watch that documentary, Out of Shadows, the woman that uncovered Pizzagate, she has a history of being a pretty solid investigative journalist and has never been called a crazy, never been smeared. She's uncovered real solid stuff. And she went after Pizzagate the same way. And she went through the Podesta emails and she said, while there's no direct mention of sex trafficking or having sex with children, all of these code words, which are backed up by the FBI, who has investigated that cheese pizza means, I don't know specifically, but it's like cheese pizza means sex with a boy. Pepperoni pizza means sex with a girl. You know, like all this shit, it's all said in these emails. She goes, when I started asking the questions, she goes, I've done all this investigative journalism. I've dealt with whistleblowers on all these other cases. And I didn't get smeared this hard until I started doing this story. So I firmly believe QAnon is a psyop. And it's also, it's working towards being full fascist, because then it brings in some of these people that say, oh, it's a Zion. It's only, you know, the Democrats and, you know, the Jews that are doing it. It's just some preposterous thing like that, which is like, no, the billionaire ruling class is the problem. But the billionaire ruling class has the money to put this kind of, I mean, this is classic CIA stuff to just divide people enough. Right. So Julian Assange, WikiLeaks is tied to Russia. So Julian Assange is Russia. So then you just make that thin connection. So now Hillary Clinton's off the hook. The Podesta emails are all considered crazy. And you're just thrown into that, you know, oh, you're a Russian asset or just whatever. They make the accusation, oh, Julian Assange is a rapist or whatever. They just make those accusations. And then people run on them, and then any legitimate thing that's brought up is just immediately dismissed. So now this woman, and of course they elevate this woman to come to Congress. So now they can say, so Graham, you agree with some of these QAnon people? QAnon is about 60 to 70% correct on stuff. But then when they think Trump is the hero, it's insane to me. Like they won't, all of his ties to Epstein, they don't want to hear it. They just don't want to hear it. So now, if I agree with some of their stuff, I'm just as bad as this woman that says anti-Semitic stuff and racist stuff. And now she's in Congress because who knows what, maybe they threaten this guy running against him or whatever the thing is. You see how effective QAnon is. So somebody like myself or Whitney Webb, you know, who's doing real investigative journalism about the ruling elites and how horrific they are. We're now lumped into this category with these wingnuts immediately. We're just completely discounted. That's how effective. That's why, you know, QAnon is a psyop. Look at how effective it is at discounting actual journalism and actual connecting of the dots. Look what it does. So, all right, let's read some super chats, folks. Sharif Snug, shave your knuckles for justice. Vegan guns for truth, but boom. Is tech censorship and cancel culture worse than McCarthyism?
Whoa.
Great question.
Yeah, that's a great question.
Welcome to the Political Vigilante, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Graham Elwood. I'm here with Ron Placone on election night. 434 people watching. Please hit the like button. We are at 321 likes. Let's get the likes up to 400. What do you think of that, Ron? What do you think of that question?
I think I think they're connected. I think it's an extension of it, because when you trace back a lot of the tech censorship, like what's going on and stuff like that, a lot of that can be traced back to this whole fake news is causing all this misinformation and they hijacked our election system, which of course, when you trace it back to its root, what's the root of all that? Russiagate. They don't really care about the domestic misinformation that's happening. They care about, some Russians spread some memes. And that led to, that eventually led to, I'm like having a total Adpocalypse. I was like, what was the thing that we called it a couple years ago? Adpocalypse, which, led to YouTube going further. And there were some other things at play here too. Like I think YouTube wants YouTube TV to be successful. So they want to help out the cable news network since they're part of that. But I think it's all an extension of McCarthyism. And now we have this very odd situation as well, where you have bipartisan support for blowing up Section 230 of the Communications Decency Act, which is the wrong way to go. People, I mean, sometimes you look at that and you read it once and you think, oh, this is holding places like Facebook and Twitter and Google accountable. That's a good thing. But then you really read into it and you're like, no, the way they're going about this, it's not a good thing, because it's just letting a bunch of FCC bureaucrats dictate what does or doesn't go on the internet. And it will lead to more censorship, because if you're going to hold places like Facebook and Google and YouTube accountable for the content on it, they're just going to censor more content, because guess what? They don't care about freedom of speech or the exchange of ideas or information. They care about their bottom line. So if they're worried about lawsuits from the government, they're just going to over-censor, and we're already seeing that. I get demonetized a hell of a lot more. The Convo Couch lost their channel for a while. All of that has happened. Other channels have been completely deleted. And I'm not saying there aren't some bogus ideas out there. Of course there are. But, the solution to bad speech is good speech. And, other ideas to counter that. And that's all after this executive order that Trump passed, blowing up Section 230, went through, which, by the way, guess who supports it too? Joe Biden. They both freaking support it. Guess who doesn't support it? Every single tech policy expert in the country. Every digital rights group in the freaking country is against this thing. The ACLU, Free Press, Fight for the Future. But even Trump's own attorneys were like, this is kind of nuts. You shouldn't do this. It's a terrible idea. It's basically like, hey, I have a broken arm. I know, we're going to set you on fire. That'll fix your arm. It's not a solution. It's a terrible idea. And this is all an extension of McCarthyism. McCarthyism plays right into that. It's connected. They're not separate. So there you go. I guess I didn't really answer the cancel culture part as much in there. Like, I don't see as much of a connection, but
to me, I agree. I think, yeah, like the tech censorship is again, it's just an extension of McCarthyism. I don't know that it's an either or. The cancel culture is, and it's probably some of it is manufactured, but that's just a part of people are okay censoring and they don't want to hear different points of view. I mean, look at the Hunter Biden thing. Like, you can't bring that up. You will get kicked off of Twitter. You'll get kicked off of YouTube if you start really talking about Hunter Biden, what's on his laptop. I mean, look at Glenn Greenwald, resigned from The Intercept that he helped create because the editorial board, and I know Scahill, who's friends with Glenn Greenwald, wrote this letter saying, I don't agree with Glenn. I think he's overreacting. He's my friend or whatever. So that's the one guy who I can at least give credit to listen to what to give. I will listen to his opposing view to Glenn Greenwald because I don't know these guys personally at all, but they seem like they're friends. And Scahill's a guy I actually respect his work, especially even with the Intercept kind of going a little more neoliberal after they got that money. But it's hard to argue with Glenn Greenwald with his reasons and what happened. And they wanted to censor his article because it was too inflammatory of Joe Biden 6 days out from the election. And it's like, and just because Tucker Carlson,
that's not how the rules work.
Yeah, it's not how the rules work. And just because Tucker Carlson likes to prop Glenn Greenwald up doesn't mean that Greenwald's wrong. It just shows you that how broken our media is, that Tucker Carlson is the only channel that's going to have him on. I mean, so to me, all of this stuff is just an extension of the McCarthyism, because like you say, the tech censorship is very much tied to Russiagate. You call out the bullshit of Russiagate, you get thrown off of Facebook. You're pro-Palestinian, you get thrown off of Facebook, and yet you can advocate for the death of Palestinians on Facebook, and that's okay. So it is. They're all one and the same, in my opinion. And it's all just, and the cancel culture is just sort of the average person on social media's reaction and getting swept up and not realizing how much they are participating in this tech censorship by a bunch of unelected tech billionaires who are determining what we can and cannot say. But it's a public platform. It's their company. They own Twitter. They get the right. Well, they're taking away our freedom of speech. It's like there's a park where we get to debate issues, and then they're coming in to start determining who can be in and out of the park.
Right. Well, and it just, it just goes to show that law has not caught up with technology.
Right.
Yet. We're in a place where, so it's like, you can't just be, well, they're a private company, tough shit. No, that's not how it works here. And second of all, when I see people on the left say shit like that, that's a right-wing talking point, by the way. That's a right-wing freaking talking point that you're using just because you don't like the person who's being censored. I might not like the person being censored either, but I can look past the tree to see the forest and see that this isn't a good thing. And by the way, guess who they censor more than the right, the left? They censor the left more, way more on Facebook. All that data has been out there. They censor the left a lot more on Facebook and on all these social media platforms than they do to the right. So, if you were celebrating, going rah rah when they deplatformed Alex Jones, way to go. Way to completely miss the forest. And guess what? Alex Jones may have violated the free speech laws of the United States. I don't know, because A, I don't watch a show. B, I'm not a constitutional lawyer. And if he violated the free speech laws of the United States when it came to Sandy Hook, like if he incited violence on anybody, which maybe he did, maybe he didn't, I have no clue. I don't watch a show. But if he did, that's not for Mark Zuckerberg and his friends to decide. That's for a freaking court of law to decide.
Right.
That's how it works in this country. And well, these are international companies. Well, guess what? They started here. So they got to follow free speech laws here if they're as big as they are. And what we really ought to do is impose some antitrust and start breaking them up. For sure.
Break them up. Let's answer a couple more super chats. Naomi Murphy, what's up, Naomi? Hi, Graham. Hi, Ron. Keep bringing Whitney Webb on. Love your interviews with her. Please interview Allison McDowell, Fourth Industrial Revolution. You got it. Melissa H, shave your knuckles for justice. Folks, great way to support the show. Go to patreon.com/Graham Elwood. You can get bonus content for as little as $2 a month. And you get early access to the Political Vigilante podcast. You get the archives of all the live streams. So after a live stream is done, I take it off of YouTube and I put it on Patreon, and then I put it on Rockfin, which is another great place to support the show. Rockfin.com/Graham Elwood. You can sign up for free. I have a lot of free content on my Rockfin page. And if you do the premium content, which is only $10 a month, then you get everyone on the whole platform's premium content. You get my premium content. You get Ron's. You get Nico House. You get Richard Medhurst. You get Whitney Webb. You get Kim Iverson. You get Jimmy Dore. Lee Camp is going to be joining Rockfin. Dave Anthony from The Dollop is going to be joining Rockfin. So you're going to be getting, it's going to become this sort of lefty indie media hub. And there's a lot of MMA people, if you like that. So it's a cool combination, and it's a great way to support our show. Melissa H, how can they call any state mail-ins not counted? Yeah, I think yeah, the chances are, I mean, they anticipate results based on the county and what have you, but the chances of us knowing definitively about the presidency tonight are very slim. Yeah.
We're not going to know.
Unless they know. Unless there's a math thing that they know they can solve. Let's say one of the candidates has such a big lead and there's not even enough outstanding ballots to swing it the other way.
Right.
Then they know, then we can call it.
And here, I can add one more thing. I can add one more fun thing to that. And those of you that have been watching Get Your News On With Ron for a while, you've heard me say this before, but I'll say it again. This is a fun little trick. And this goes, as long as we have the cable news structure that we have, this will always be a fun rule. If they call the West Coast early ever, that means the Republican won. That's a fun trick of the trade. When they call the West Coast early, that means the Republican won. The reason for that is, where does the West Coast go? Well, it always goes to the Democrat. Washington, Oregon, California, they're all going to be blue. Unless something really freaking crazy happens tonight. Washington, Oregon, California, they're all going to be blue. So when they call that early, that means the Republican probably won. but they don't want you to tune away from the horse race. So they call the West Coast early, so the Democrats up ahead for a while. So whenever they call the West Coast early, that means the Republican is probably going to win. It's pretty much over. And did I ever tell you my 2016 story?
No, Ron, you didn't.
Oh, dude. Yeah, we just walked into it. So 2016, I am on election day. I had a nooner. For anyone who doesn't know what that is, Graham does. But for anyone who doesn't know what that is, that's exactly what it sounds like. It's a gig at noon. And typically you have a college gig. And they're usually not the easiest gigs in the world. But, you know, colleges, they compensate you well. And when you're a comedian, it's really, you know, I was able to make a living because of colleges for a while. Performing at colleges was a big part of how I made my living for many years. And so I had a nooner gig in Seattle, or outside of Seattle at a community college. So, and I used to live in Seattle. I still have some people I started comedy with that are up there. So my buddy, Brett Hamill, he's been on my show before. He's basically like Seattle's political comedian. Like he has a local, you know, talk show kind of like this, but it's all focused on Seattle politics. He's had Sama Suwan on a bunch and stuff like that. And he writes for the magazine up there, like one of the magazines. So I hit him up and I go, hey man, what are you doing for election night? And he's like, oh, I know you're not a big Hillary guy, and I'm not either, but I'm going to this Hillary event. Do you want to just go to that? And I was like, well, okay. I mean, I'm not going to go to a Trump event. I'd rather just go to we're going to watch it event, but I'll go to a Hillary event, whatever. That's okay. So I go. My buddy doesn't show up because he had a newborn at the time. So he's just like, Ron, this is fatherhood. I can't be there. And I'm like, well, shit. So I'm just at a Hillary event by myself. And I'm just like, all right, this is, I mean, I guess I'm here. I guess I'll watch it. And they called the West Coast early. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, Donald Trump won. And all these Hillary people around me, not one other fucking person knew that. And they're cheering. And I felt like the only person, like it was like the room was on fire. And I was the only guy who was like, you guys not, this isn't a fog machine. This is a freaking fire. This wasn't planned. This wasn't planned. We have to get out of here. Like, I'm like, Donald Trump won the election. And here's a room full of Hillary people because they didn't know that. They're cheering because, like, well, first of all, did you think she was going to lose the West Coast? Did you think the West Coast wasn't going to be blue? But they're cheering and high-fiving because they announced it early. So Hillary was ahead by a bunch. And I'm sitting there and I'm just like, Donald Trump just won. And then this guy comes up to me and I shit you not. And he goes, I'm this ignoramus. And he goes, hey, buddy, you know it was over an hour and a half ago, right? And I'm just going, yeah, I did. But for who? You realize it's not the result you want, right? I just looked at him and I was like, dude, I'm not so sure. I mean, I didn't say all that. I didn't want to like get into an argument with a stranger, but I'm just like, dude, she lost. Like your person lost.
Wow. That's good. That's a good tidbit to know. So if they call California in the next half hour, we are in trouble.
Trump won. Yeah. If they call California in the next half hour.
I don't know that we're in trouble because like I'm not a Biden supporter. I don't know which outcome is going to be more horrific for America. I really don't know. Like if Biden wins, I'll be like, well, I don't like Trump. I'm glad he's gone, I guess. But
well, of course. Yeah. I mean, I'm going to like seeing Trump lose. Of course I would enjoy seeing Trump lose.
Right.
But then you have to watch Biden become president. You're like, shit. Can't I just pick that first part and the second part doesn't have to happen? We have to have them both? Son of a bitch. That's not fair.
Imad Arandi, Shaving Knuckles for Justice, longtime fan. Trump going to get 269 without Pennsylvania by winning Florida, Arizona, Georgia, Nevada, North Carolina. Biden will get 249 and PA is going to get messy. Most fun scenario, LOL. Can you please call up Jimmy? Yeah, I'll text Jimmy and see if he wants to come on my show. I'll text Jimmy right now.
Here, I'll do a couple. I'll do a couple on my end here,
Yeah, you read
folks. I'll read some. Natural Progressive, what's up? I haven't seen you in forever. I hope you are well. I hope you are staying safe. Good to see you. A Mayors, what's going on? I think I know the answer, but are they reporting any numbers besides the two corporate parties? Yeah, probably not. Whiskey and a t-shirt, of course. Whiskey and a t-shirt time. Enjoy. And then grab your pitchfork, says A Mayors. Stay safe, A-Mares. Thank you. Enjoy that whiskey and a t-shirt. Podcast by George. What's up, buddy? These tired old men we elect kings don't like Howlin' Wolf, the Stones, Green Day, or us. You are right. You are right. And I enjoy all those things. Howlin' Wolf and the Stones, I like more than Green Day. Green Day, I like some of their earlier stuff, some of their later stuff. I didn't connect with as much, but you know, I appreciate what they do, and I'm glad they paid off Dillinger 4 when they, subconsciously ripped that guitar riff off of them. That was the right thing to do. Become a patron of Ron. I agree with that. And get your own theme song. I did. That's right. Podcast by George. I made his theme song because over on my Patreon, patreon.com/Ron Placone, that's one of my perks. You can get your own theme song. I've written theme songs for people in the Get Your News On With Ron vein. Some of them are about people's jobs. They wanted me to make a theme song about their profession. Some are, I did a theme song for an author. They're an author. They wanted me to make a theme song about that. I made a theme song for gardeners. I made theme songs for couples. Some people, they're like, Ron, will you make a theme song for my husband or my wife? And I made a love song for people, which was very humbling and flattering to do. So yeah, that's one of the perks over at patreon.com/Ron Placone. And my Patreon is a give what you can level. So if you got a little bit to spare, I know it's a tough time, but if you got a little bit to spare, even $1 or $2 a month goes a long way. And you get all the perks. You get a Zoom show each week. I do a Zoom show just for my patrons. You get my patron stream once a week where I respond directly and only to the patrons, and the replays only available on Patreon. And I'm doing theme songs for folks. And there's a bunch of stand-up not available anywhere else, a bunch of podcasts not available anywhere else. It's a fun time. So patreon.com/Ron Placone. Montana, I definitely do theme songs for cats. I definitely do them. So patreon.com/Ron Placone. Sign up. It's give what you can. Where did Graham go? Graham just left. I didn't even know Graham left. Graham's gone. I didn't know Graham left. I thought he was just waiting for me to stop talking, but Graham just left. Hopefully Graham comes back soon. Otherwise, I'll just yeah. We'll just keep going, guys. Let me know your thoughts. Hit me up with some super chats. Let me know what's on your mind, and let me see what else is going on here. Let me refresh the results for Lisa Savage in Maine. All right, Lisa went up a little bit, but this is not looking spectacularly good. Susan Collins, the Republican, has 59% of the vote. Right now, Sarah Gideon has 34% of the vote, and Lisa Savage has 4.9% of the vote. And then there's another independent in the race, Max Lynn. They have 1.8% of the vote. Now, keep in mind, this is pretty significant because Maine has ranked choice voting. So the whole existence of a spoiler effect doesn't exist in Maine because they have ranked choice voting, which is awesome. But I'm a little disappointed to see the results so far for Lisa. They did kind of blacklist her in the press a little bit towards the end, which was very discouraging. They did kind of keep her out of some of the debates, which was also very discouraging. And so we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens there. But that's an update on that race. So Graham was the guy maintaining the New York Times map. It was not myself. My head is just above the chyron of Imad's super chat there. And that was Graham's super chat, not mine. So I'm also just, that's just kind of living here now. So what's up, Imad? You're like my co-host, buddy. I'm with you. We're doing this together. I don't know where Graham's at. Graham just disappeared. Graham was like, no. He'll be back. It might have been a tech thing. Or maybe he's calling Jimmy up. I don't know. It's possible. He might be calling Jimmy up. I don't know what they're talking about. Maybe they're talking about me. But you're like, let's see how long it takes Ron to get the New York Times map by himself. But here, let's go. New York Times election results. We'll try that. We'll see what that produces. Here's the election results live. I'm clicking it right now. All right. So right now it's Biden's got 122. Trump's got 92. They're calling. So they're saying New Mexico. All right. Well, here's New Mexico. They're calling for Biden. Now that's just 5 electoral votes. So it's not a huge thing, but that'd be a state where it's like, okay, that was an interesting, that went blue. But 0% is reporting. So they're just, they're anticipating Biden's going to win that one, but the votes have not been cast here. Donald Trump won Alabama to the surprise of nobody. Mississippi, Trump. Louisiana, Trump. Arkansas, Trump. Oklahoma, Trump. Tennessee, Trump. None of these are surprises. South Carolina, Trump. Now, North Carolina, 80% is reporting. Okay. All right. Here's something kind of fascinating. With 80% of the vote reported, folks, Joseph Biden, did you know he's a junior? I didn't know that. Joseph R. Biden Jr. That's his full name here, according to the New York Times. And if the New York Times is saying it, it's got to be true. They've never gotten anything wrong before. Just look at the Iraq War. They've always nailed it. But his name is actually Joseph R. Biden Jr. He's a junior. Who knew that? I didn't know that. He is up 50.3% to 48.5% over Donald Trump in North Carolina. So 80% of the votes are reported. Joe Biden has a slight lead. Now that would be that'd be an interesting win there, North Carolina. I'm pretty sure Obama got North Carolina at least once, maybe twice. But yeah, interesting. All right, so there's that. That's a surprise. Virginia. All right, they're still saying Biden's going to win Virginia, but right now it is still 56 to 41. Donald Trump is actually beating Joseph R. Biden Jr. If he would have went by Junior, do you think that would have been like would that have worked out for him? It might have made him seem younger. You know what I mean? Although anyone can be a junior, it doesn't. But sometimes when you hear that, I'm junior, that's a little like, well, you're a junior. Okay. I guess you're young. I don't know. Sorry about my face. It's being blocked. This is Graham's Kyrod, so I can't change it. This is just, what I look like now, on the screen. All right. So let's see what else is going on here. Let me go look at the big map some more, which I actually can't because Graham is, well, here, let me see if I can do something here. All right. Okay. Let me see here. Let's see if I can do this right now. Wait, I can't. Okay. I cannot share my screen. Oh, wait. Maybe I can. No, I can't. Okay. All right. I can't share my screen because I'm not actually hosting this. Graham is. So I can't share my screen right now. Otherwise, I could show you the map and you could see it with me. So let me text Graham and see if everything's okay. I'll check in with him and see what's happening. Hey, everything okay? All right. There we go. Just checked it. We're doing it live, folks. Clearly, we're doing this live. Let's see here. So going back to our map here, where we got Mississippi. Yeah. Oh, here's something with let's see. All right, so right now 64% of votes are reported. Here's an interesting one. Colorado. Biden is up in Colorado. Biden's up 56% to to 40%, with 64% of the vote reported. That's, hey, Graham, you're back.
I'm back. Sorry about that, buddy. I just had to take a quick snack break and use the restroom or whatever. Sorry to just leave you hanging.
That's okay.
I heard you. Hold on. Let me.
Well, I tried to add my map, but I can't because you're actually hosting the stream. I couldn't show people the map.
Okay, let's go. Let me go through. We'll go through some of these super chats, and then I'll bring the map up. Christine, thank you so much, Christine, for supporting the show. Please hit the like button, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to go to the map in just a second. I don't want 12 years of Kamala. Yeah, I get that. Let's see how many other super chatters. Not a great way to support the show, folks. All right, let me go look here. And first of all, hey, shout out to everybody watching us on the Rockfin. Free Assange, please. Laura St. James, Tangera Hayes, Kate, Miss Callie, Chris, Ryan Gorman, Independent Left News. Thank you for watching us on the Rock, on the big Rockfin. Let's see. Hero 40, Shaving Knuckles for Justice. Awesome work, fellas, as always. Not employed, but I insist on helping real journalists when I can. Keep it up. Thank you so much for supporting what we're doing. We know money is tight for a lot of people. I always say, if you can't donate money, great. But if money's tight, there's a lot of free ways to support this show. One is to make sure you're subscribed. So they have been literally taking my subscriber count. It was at 73,600 some. It is now down to like 73,000. So they are unsubscribing people. So that's the first thing. Hitting the like button on this live stream right now. We got 460 likes. Hit the live stream. Hit the like. Listen to the Political Vigilante podcast on iTunes or Spotify. And again, downloading it, giving it a positive review on iTunes, 5-star review, positive comments, all that stuff. Those are free ways to support the show. Both my comedy albums are on Pandora. There's a Graham Elwood comedy channel on Pandora. It's free. It's the free one. There's a Pandora premium where you can pay to not listen to ads, but if you listen to the free one. So those are all free ways to support the show. And when you watch YouTube, let the ads play all the way through. When you click skip ad, I do not get paid. Even open up a separate browser window. That's a great free way to support the show if money's tight. So thank you for doing that. Matt S., Shave Your Knuckles for Justice. Please tell me you and Ron have covered some ground prepping for your socialist Christmas spectacular. I want a ticket. Well, Ron's been busy moving, but
well, we got a big show. It's not a Christmas or holiday thing, but November 21st is going to be a really big Zoom show that we're doing that we're really stoked about.
Right, but I'm talking about the Christmas album special we've been discussing that I emailed you on, but you've been busy, which I get, but we got to crank that out, and then we got to do a Zoom Christmas special to play some of these songs or whatever. We got to figure out how we're going to do that and release an album.
All right.
Socialist Christmas album. We got to do it right.
Socialist Christmas album. All right. I'm on board.
All right. We need revenue streams. Grandma got run over by a reindeer, has made like $1 billion. So we're going to write something catchy, and it's going to be socialist, and it's going to be, and that's going to make us money for the rest of our lives, Ron. So we're going to.
The Union reindeer didn't hit Grandma because it was properly rested.
Yeah. Capitalism killed Santa. That's one of our songs. That's going to be. I wrote some song titles out in that email. Capitalism killed Santa. Grandma, we're going to do
Grandma's
that. So that's happening. Connie Conception. Thank you, Connie. Shaving Knuckles for Justice. I reported the Hunter Biden article on my Twitter account and they deleted my account. Yeah. Jeez. I did a Hunter Biden story and I only put the video on Rockfin because YouTube's been messing with me so much. My YouTube money's come down. My Patreon money's come down, which I'm sure some of it is the economy. People can't afford to support all these Patreon support, which I get, which is why I really push people into Rockfin. Because if you're spending $20, $30 a month on various Patreons, for $10, you get all of us and we all get paid. We all get residual income off of that. So anyway, yeah, I'm not surprised, Connie, that happened. They deleted your account. I've been censored on Facebook as well. Yeah, we're living in full-on censorship and it's coming from the so-called left. It's like, it's crazy. They're just as bad as the right, man. They're just as bad. Kate, our moderator, this is why I asked my super chat question. Yeah, you're right, Sharif Snugs. That's what you're talking about. Yeah, because we're all getting crushed. They're censoring all of us. Yeah. Why were the polls so off for Biden winning? What was the media trying to set up? A contested election, so there's riots in the streets, and then they can go and put us into martial law.
Well, I think too they want to just rely on the same polling as they did in 2016, and you literally saw the exact same thing go down, which is oh yeah, look at all these polls that were very faulty the first time. We're going to do the exact same formula. Why try to change anything? So they're making it out like Biden's got this thing in the bag, and I don't know who's going to win. I think it's way too early to say one way or another, but I mean, I think these are the safe predictions, unless for some reason it's a landslide, which I don't think it's going to be. We're not going to know tonight. And, and here are a few other safe predictions. If it is very close, and let's say it goes to the courts, or let's say it is contested, Trump's not going anywhere.
No.
So there's a lot of scenarios where Trump just doesn't go anywhere, and Biden, doesn't become president. So this whole idea of like Biden is, has got this in the bag. I mean, I've been saying for weeks, you've been saying for weeks, a lot of us have been saying for weeks, look, this thing's far from over. And, if you want to just, write it off because you're like, well, you don't like Biden, so that's why you're saying, think what you will, but I'm just being real here. Like, this thing ain't over. It ain't over now, and it was never over at any point. And I'll tell you what, if Trump does win again, and Nate Silver still has a job the day after, that is nothing short of criminal. That is criminal.
If Trump wins, the vote any blue will do crowd, the liberal crowd, I don't know. I thought they were going to wake up 4 years ago, but if they lose again and they still run around, and who are they going to blame this time? Bernie? Like, who are they going to blame?
Oh, they're already blaming the left. I mean, they're already, blaming the left. I mean, they already started. I mean, it's already started.
I mean, they're going to just, then it's like, then this country deserves itself. The stupid vote any blue will do people and the dumb fuck Trumpers deserve to just butt fuck each other in a ring of fire. Anyway, let's look at the map, Ron.
So another polling place has called Virginia for Biden. Political polls called Virginia for Biden, and the AP did. So that's all essentially the same thing. So, but it looks like they're saying Virginia went for Biden, which that's the first surprise. I think it's fair to say that's the first surprise.
This is so confusing to me. Because when I bring this up, it says Biden has 41% of the vote and Trump has 56%. 45% reporting, and they're just saying it's Biden. Now, I know it was a 20-point lead an hour and a half ago, and now it's only 15 points.
Yeah, it must be the really blue districts that are also very big districts. I mean, it must be like those types of districts are still left.
Right.
Who wants some good news? I got a little bit of good news. You want to hear some good news?
Ron, what do you got for us?
I think this is pretty good news. Ilhan Omar wins re-election.
Oh, all right. That's good.
Take that. Take that, Ilhan Omar. She wins re-election.
There's stuff to be critical of her. Of her and the squad. They've done some neoliberalist things, but she is better than a Pelosi by a long shot.
Yes.
I'd rather see more Greens and socialists rather than quasi-progressive Democrats, but I'll take that.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, of course, the squad has not been perfect, and there is definitely room for some fair criticism. There is also the reality they are grossly outnumbered. And, and it's one of the reasons that I feel like we need something outside of this system, because it's like, it's really set up so that you don't take over the Democratic Party. The Democratic Party takes over you.
Yeah.
it's really set up for that to be the case. So either you try to change the game so you can beat them, or you're really going up against a huge behemoth on the inside.
It's honestly getting into one of these parties and thinking you can reform it. It's like getting into prison. And there's these two gangs. There's like whatever, the Aryan Brotherhood and and some other gang, and you are like, well, I'm not a neo-Nazi. I don't want to join them, but I'm obviously not going to be allowed in the Latino gang or the black gang, so I got to just join one of these gangs so I don't get killed. It's got to be something like that, unless so many people from my neighborhood all got thrown into the same prison, and then we can change. It's like that. I mean, it might be kind of an insane example, but that's how I view it. I mean, anyway, let's go to the big map, Ron. North Carolina right now, 82% of the precincts reporting Biden has a slim 1.4% lead. He literally has somewhere in the neighborhood of about 60,000 votes. He's leading. So there's all these precincts that haven't reported yet. The big cities, he's gotten big leads. But these precincts, these districts or counties, they're counties. That's what they call them. Nothing has come in from these 5 counties. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
And Phil Scott, the Republican, won re-election as Vermont's governor.
Wow.
So Governor Phil Scott wins re-election in Vermont.
Wow. And then let's look at Florida.
Florida.
Looks like Florida might go Trump. He's got about a 520,000 vote lead. It's roughly
93%.
93% of the polls are in.
Reported. Yeah. I think Trump wins Florida. I'd be very surprised if Florida went blue. Yeah. Now, a pseudo surprise, not a shock, but I would say pseudo surprise. It looks like Colorado is going to go blue.
Yeah, let's look at Colorado here.
Not a crazy surprise, but
it's, I mean, part of this you got to understand. Colorado used to be a little more purple, a little more red, but I think the influx of the marijuana economy has brought in more lefty types and gotten more sort of conservative farm types to go, well, we're making money off this weed thing. And maybe we should keep this, maybe this is all right. And you've got, Biden with 72% of precincts, and Biden has a huge lead right now. He's got a 17-point lead. Looks like roughly 400,000 more votes. The precincts that haven't recorded yet are Fort Collins and then just rural runs. So yeah, that's probably why, because
Fort Collins is going to be blue.
Yeah, Fort Collins will be blue. And Denver and the Denver suburbs have gone pretty blue.
Yeah. And
then you see these sort of, I mean, Denver has 89%. The Arapone County has 89% reporting, 91% in the suburbs of Denver. And then you've got these other rural states, counties. Yeah, it might be the kind of thing where, 72% voting, there's just not enough outstanding ballots to swing it. They'd all have to come in. Interesting. Well, there are 9 electoral votes. So right now, according to the New York Times, Biden has a slight lead. He's got 39 more electoral votes.
Yeah, and the big behemoth that they already called for him is New York. Right. Now, they have not called any behemoths for Trump yet. So that's something important to keep in mind, just as far as the numbers go. They haven't called any behemoths for Trump. If they call Florida, it's going to get a lot closer. But the West Coast is still looming. Remember our rule of thumb, folks. They have not, as of right now, called the West Coast early. So this is a competition. 4 years ago, they called the West Coast early.
The polls in the West Coast close in 5 minutes. So here's some news. Former Governor John Hickenlooper of Colorado was first Democrat to flip a Senate seat tonight in the party's quest to retake the Senate majority. All right, a corporate Democrat.
Yeah, I mean, okay, yeah.
So
It's like,
if they win the Senate and Biden wins, then are we going to hear more obstructionist Republican nonsense when they don't pass things we want?
oh yeah, I mean, Hickenlooper and Bernie will really butt heads over Medicare for all because he was one of the vocal opponents of it, and he was God, he was so annoying in those frickin' debates. He wasn't the most. I think Delaney was the most annoying one. But he held his own as far as just being really frickin' annoying. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's 40 for now. Looking at Georgia, 47% of the votes have been reported. Trump has a 14-point lead. There's still a lot of counties to be reported, but I don't see Georgia going for Biden now.
It's not impossible. I'm telling you, of the southern states, the ones that I thought could, well, if you count Virginia, I guess the two that I thought, I wouldn't count Virginia as a southern state, but the one southern state that I was thinking what might be a big toss-up is North Carolina, and it looks like that's still the case. Will Biden win it? I'm not sure, but right now he's up by a little bit with 84% of the votes reported. He's up by 0.7%. It's 49.7 to 49.1, and 84% of the votes are reported. So there could be a Joe Biden victory in North Carolina, which that would definitely be a southern surprise. I think that's the only southern state he's got a shot at, especially with what's in so far. I don't see Georgia going blue. I think Florida. I think Trump's going to win Florida, and I think Trump's going to win Texas. I don't see Biden winning Texas.
Let's look at Texas right now. So Texas has Trump with a 2-point lead. 76% of the votes have been reported. He's got about a 120, 130,000 vote lead. There's still a lot of ones that haven't reported. Yeah, the only way for Biden to win Texas is, I mean, these rural counties somehow miraculously going for him, which I don't see happening. But it's El Paso now. Yeah, a bunch of votes came in El Paso. It's this neighboring county that could maybe do it, but I don't see Biden getting Texas. But he's still going back to Georgia. He could Biden still theoretically could get Georgia, because look at this. There's only 1% of votes reported in the county just outside of Georgia, and there's only 32% in Fulton County, where Atlanta is. So they could pull in way more votes because there's just a small amount of reporting that's done in those counties, in some of those counties. Augusta has 32%. Athens has 40-some%. Columbus, Georgia has 47%. So I don't know, maybe. Savannah,
a lot of the red counties have a lot more reported.
Yeah,
maybe, man. I'd be surprised. I wouldn't count on it as far as like guessing, but yeah, Georgia's not an impossibility. It's not an impossibility. I would say North Carolina might be more likely than Georgia, but hey, stranger things have happened. And, they did hit Georgia really hard. The Democrats did. And that's one of the, Biden did okay in the South during the primary. Of course, there was South Carolina that, changed
breaking
that
news,
primary.
Ron. Sorry to break in, Ron.
Break in, man.
Lindsey Graham reelected to the Senate in South Carolina, defeating Jamie Harrison.
Oh boy. Yay. Yeah, Lindsey Graham. Great. He's not going anywhere. I didn't know anything about the opponent really, and I guess Governor Eric Holcomb, Republican, wins re-election in Indiana. So I guess in a lot of ways so far, there hasn't been a ton of surprises.
Here right now, Wisconsin is leaning towards Trump. Minnesota's leaning towards Biden. Michigan, Trump has a sizable lead in Michigan.
Okay. All right. I am surprised by Wisconsin. You said Wisconsin's leaning Trump?
Right now, Trump has about a almost 3-point lead, 2.5-point lead. But there's a bunch of counties that haven't come in. Now, Madison is 50% counted, is really heavy for Biden. Milwaukee is heavy for Biden. Kenosha is heavy for Trump. Jesus. But you've got all these other, now most of these rural runs will probably go for Trump. There's a lot that isn't counted. Only 28% of the votes are counted. The governor is claiming that he will know the results on election night or by the day after. Officials in Milwaukee, which could be the largest to report, have said the results could take until between 3 and 6 a.m. Wednesday.
I just saw Trump is up slightly in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, let's go to Pennsylvania's big board here. 20% of votes reported in Pennsylvania. Trump has about a little over 2-point lead. And again, they're going to, in Pennsylvania, they're going to count until November 6th. We're not going to know this till next week. Polls just closed in Iowa, Montana, Nevada, Utah, and part of Idaho. It is after 7 o'clock Pacific time, 10 o'clock on the East Coast. California polls closed at 8, I believe, right?
Here's a little bit of interesting news from Florida, actually. It looks like Amendment 2 to pass the minimum wage is going to pass. So they're going to raise the minimum wage in Florida. And they're going to have top 2 open primaries. It looks like that passed as well.
Passed? In Florida?
It looks like that's going to pass. It's leaning huge. Yes with 91% reported. And with 90% reported, it looks like they're going to raise the minimum wage. And shout out to A. Mayers for the super chat. A. Mayers said, check out Florida ballot measures, Ron. There's a win. You're right. If I got what you were talking about, let me know. If there's something else that I'm still missing, let me know. But that is some good news. And also, shout out to Jose Torres. Thank you for the super chat contribution. Jose says, weren't the blue MAGA people supposed to burn it down if Trump tried to nominate a Supreme Court justice? Yes, they said they were going to do that. I don't know what happened there. I guess, I don't know. I guess you can't do a lot of destruction at brunch. And they didn't do anything. They didn't do anything
on Facebook, but to actually get out and do it, that's another story.
Well, I guess they wanted to be like their kings and queens. Their kings and queens in the Democratic establishment did absolutely nothing. So I guess they figured we'll just do nothing too. They did. Nancy Pelosi and the Democrats, they could have put forth a bunch of stall bills that actually could have given money to people, put money in people's hands. They could have put forth bill after bill after bill, so it would have taken priority over appointing that Supreme Court justice. They could have done that up to Election Day. They chose not to. They could have threatened a government shutdown. They chose not to. They could have brought up the articles of impeachment. Remember when they had that impeachment circus where they impeached the president and it did absolutely freaking nothing and they didn't even look at any of his real crimes? I remember. They could have brought that up. They didn't even do that. They did nothing. Nancy Pelosi and the Democrats did nothing to stop that Supreme Court appointment. Absolutely nothing. And now people wag their finger at everybody to go out and vote. And I'm not saying I encourage people to vote. Go out and vote. I encourage it. But you know what? They tell you to go out and vote. Meanwhile, at least 5 out of the 9 Supreme Court justices have been appointed by presidents that the majority of voters didn't frickin' vote for. George W. Bush wasn't a legitimate president the first time. So his 2 appointments in 2004, guess what? He wasn't a freaking legitimate president. In 2000, he wasn't a legitimate president the first time. He didn't actually win. The courts gave it to him. And then Trump, 3 picks, also lost the popular vote by millions.
Yep. That's our great system we've got. It's a great system. Looks like Kansas is going for Donald Trump.
What? No way. No, double check that, Graham. Come on.
Kansas is going for DT.
Kansas is going red. Man, now I've seen it all.
Owen Johnson, Shave Your Knuckles for Justice. Thank you for supporting the show. Owen, scenario: if Biden wins, Colorado was likely promised a Klobuchar was that likely promised a cabinet position that would free up a Senate seat for Jesse Ventura, first Green senator. Ooh, I like that scenario.
I like that. Yeah.
Oh, I like that.
Green representation in the Senate. Yeah, that'd be great.
I'd love that.
I'd love that too.
Katie Halper wants me as a guest. Katie, yes. I've texted her to be on the show. She's like, let's do it. And then I say, how about these dates? And I haven't heard back. So just hit me up, Katie. I wrote in Jesse in Oregon, right on Backyard Politics. Good for two. Good for two. Good for you is what I was trying to say. I don't know what I'm saying anymore, folks. Couple super chats. Kate, our moderator, show Kate some love. Kate, thank you so much. Shave Your Knuckles for Justice, Kate. Anything about Shahid Buttar at all? Nancy passed her expiration date and needs to just go away. Do we have any Shahid Buttar information?
I don't think there's really anything we can look to quite yet because the polls aren't closed in California. So, right. I don't know if we have anything quite yet. I mean,
we close in less than an hour.
Mm-hmm. So,
all right. Matt S., Shave Your Knuckles for Justice, Matt. Graham, you're sober, but Ron, are you enjoying a whiskey to numb this business?
Not yet. I will before the night's over. I mean, I'm doing a bunch of election stuff. I'm doing this, and then I'm stopping over at the Green Party's live stream to check in with the Green Party. I'm checking in with the Convo Couch. So it's going to be a long evening when all's said and done, which is fine. It's election night. And then when it's all over, I'm going to finish packing for tomorrow morning. Because I am moving, folks. If you haven't heard that news, I'm just elsewhere in Los Angeles. I'm not going anywhere far, but I'm moving to a different part of Los Angeles because my wife got a new job. We want to be closer to it. So, I'm doing it all at once. Election day and then moving day. So I will not be streaming live tomorrow because I will be moving, but I'll be back once I am settled in my new apartment.
Outstanding. T. Ada. Shave Your Knuckles for Justice. Either way, none of us win with Biden or Trump, but I love that you guys are doing this show tonight. Thank you. Yeah, why not? It's fun.
Fun times.
Fun times. Fun time. 522 likes, everybody. Excuse me. I love that like button. Kate, our moderator. Kate. Did Alaska and Maine approve ranked choice voting? That is a great question.
Maine definitely did. I don't know about Maine, or excuse me, I don't know about Alaska, but Maine definitely did. Right. I mean, oh wait, no, she asked if Massachusetts.
Yeah, Massachusetts.
Yeah. Sorry about that. That's a good question. I wonder if they have it. Alaska, we probably wouldn't know yet, but let's see if they have anything for Massachusetts.
Yeah, let's
see. Yeah, it was on the ballot in Massachusetts.
Somebody wrote on Twitter, we're only hours away from
the
next Israeli governor of vassal states of America is.
Well, this is a bummer, Graham, with 35% reporting. Now, that's just 35, so it's not over yet, but ranked choice voting is not passing in Massachusetts. Right now, with 35% reporting, 53% are saying no, 46% are saying yes. It's only 35% reporting, so it's not over yet, but it looks like ranked choice voting is not doing great in Massachusetts.
Come on, Massachusetts. Pull your head out of your ass. I'm sorry. Yeah, Maine
I'd be surprised. You know what, man? Massachusetts is a pretty progressive place, definitely. But the other side of that, though, is that Massachusetts also, there's a big, strong, old Democrat guard in Massachusetts. Yeah. There's a very extensive, Democrat Party pride history in Massachusetts. So they might be like, well, we already got our people. We don't want ranked choice voting, because the duopoly does not like ranked choice voting. They'll try to make it seem like ranked choice voting is a bad thing. Why? Because the duopoly needs each other to stay in business. The Republicans need the Democrats to be as ineffective as they are, so that the Republicans can be as repulsive as they are. Similarly, the Republicans need to be as repulsive as they are, so the Democrats can continue to be as ineffective as they are. And that's how they each keep the gravy train rolling. So they don't want something like ranked choice voting that threatens all that. So
Yep.
But hopefully those numbers change. But right now, unfortunately, ranked choice voting is losing in Massachusetts.
This just in, AOC won her seat in New York's 14th congressional district.
Right on.
So everybody in the 14th district can be happy that she isn't bothered that Joe Biden won't ban fracking. That's good. Spencer Cox, a Republican, wins the governor race in Utah. Richie Torres, Democrat, wins New York's 15th congressional district. John Cornyn, Republican, wins re-election to the U.S. Senate in Texas. All right, so now we've got some numbers in from Arizona. We're going to go to the big board, Ron.
Let's do it.
Let's read a quick super chat real quick. JG, formerly JK, Colorado Proposition 113 passes National Popular Vote Pact. Ooh, all right. I like that. That's exciting that they're voting to, everyone wants to agree that we just need a national popular vote and get rid of the Electoral College. I'm all
nice. All right, Colorado.
Nice. Way to go.
Dude, Colorado, if you guys get an ocean, I'm freaking moving there. All you guys got to do is get an ocean. I'm on my way.
If there was surfing in Colorado or New Mexico, I'd be all over it.
Everybody would live there. Everyone would, because they have like everything else. It's like everything that's just the one thing they don't. You're really freaking far from salt water. That's the one thing they don't have. Shout out to A. Mares. Thank you very much for the super chat contribution. A. Mares says, this is an interesting thing here. And here's some breaking news. Not as solid as your California predictive measure, but they're pretending Biden takes Iowa. They are so wrong. So I guess they're speculating Biden's going to win Iowa. Now, A. Mares, an Iowa resident, is saying he's not going to take Iowa.
Interesting. Well, let's look
at Iowa was up for grabs. Right now, 0% is reporting in Iowa.
Well, let's go to some Western states that are reporting now. So Arizona has 72% reporting. This is wow. They total it fast. They will be early in-person ballots and mail ballots that arrive before Election Day, which are likely to be relatively stronger. Okay. Look at this. Biden has a 10-point lead.
I'm seeing that. Yeah. That is surprising. 72%'s in. Biden is up by 10 in Arizona. I was not expecting that. That's a sizable lead.
I mean, Phoenix is the big city, and Tucson is the second biggest city, and all these other things. Some of these are like this upper right-hand corner, Apache. I mean, these are Native American reservations. Part of this over here, this is Navajo, so obviously that's Navajo County, and this is the Apache County. So this is this is significant because, and this goes to my if there's 11 electoral votes, and they're calling Arizona one of the swing states, right? And I was like, I don't know that Biden wins Georgia like you were talking about. Maybe there's those counties we just talked about earlier in outside of Atlanta that they've only gotten a small percentage of votes in. But Arizona is interesting because we know that a lot of people have left California. First, before the George Floyd protest, people were leaving California because the cost of living in California is very expensive. We know this, especially in the LA area and the San Francisco area. And so when COVID hit, people were leaving for a multitude of reasons. First of all, lost my job, can't afford to live here anymore. I'm moving back with friends, family, or just moving somewhere where it's cheaper. Then you got all the people who are working from home, and with all the tech industry and showbiz industry jobs, which are a lot of Hollywood, LA County is people working for Hulu, Netflix, whatever. You've got all those jobs up in the Bay Area as well. And they're like, why are we paying these exorbitant rents and mortgages? If we're working at home, everybody saw like, well, let's move where it's cheaper. And then when the George Floyd protests and there was riots and stuff like that, some people were like, oh man, I'm out of here. But I heard this from friends of mine in Arizona and just people in general. Like in Phoenix, there was all the U-Haul places in Phoenix had way more trucks than they could deal with because everybody was renting trucks in California, driving them and one way and moving to Arizona because the cost of living in Arizona is drastically cheaper than in California. So like for the same amount of money you're paying, you can get a house with a bigger place, or you can pay less in rent, or, you know, you pay less in rent. And I'm living in a building now that has a pool so it's like, why am I dealing with all this in LA? So I wonder how many, because Arizona's always been a very red state, but I wonder how many people moved to Arizona from California for various reasons and then registered to vote in Arizona.
Right.
Because, I mean, this is the most amount. I mean, I know it's still early, but still 73% of people have reported. And Biden has a 9-point lead. I mean, he's got over 200,000 votes.
That's surprising. And that would be, that would be a surprise. I mean, that would be another surprise. I mean, again, would it be a total shock? Well, not necessarily, but that'd be an interesting swing there. If he takes Arizona, Joe Biden, you know, the Midwest is still the big, the big one here. I mean, Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania. Biden, if Biden wants any chance at winning, he has to win at least one of those, preferably two. I think Ohio is going to go red. But I think between Michigan, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, if at least one of those doesn't go blue, this contest is over.
Well, this is why Pennsylvania, why it's been such a fight by the Republicans to limit the amount of mail-in ballots, is because only 25% of vote reported. So this is in-person voting is tallied sooner, and this favors Donald Trump. That's why Trump has a big, 8-point lead, basically, is because they know the mail-in ballots are probably going to favor Biden. That's why there's it's an effort by Trump to stop the mail-in vote. That's why he said in a campaign speech a couple of days ago, like, we shouldn't be counting after the election. Once the election's over, it's done, which is the most absurd thing I've ever heard in my life. No, you count all the votes.
This has never happened before in the history of America. I don't remember the year 2000.
Yeah.
Was that when I did Home Alone 2? I'm clueless.
I know. It's just so dumb. So let's look at Utah. Utah more than likely is going to go for Trump, right? It's always been super red. Now, 34% of so Salt Lake City might go more Biden,
more blue, yeah.
And so this is up here in Park City, Summit County is where Park City, Utah is.
That's a college town, right?
Yeah, and that's where all the skiing is and stuff like that. Provo hasn't reported, and all these other haven't reported at all. Now probably mostly rural will mostly go for, although some down here in Four Corners, San Juan County, that might go for Biden. But Salt Lake has already had 60% reporting. Biden has a little bit of a lead. More than likely, this will go to Trump, and it's 6 electoral votes. But again, if it were somehow to go towards Biden for some reason, it's probably 2. It's another one of the states where a lot of Californians have moved. They moved to Arizona. They moved to Utah, then Nevada, Idaho, Montana. They've moved to a lot of these places, and I wonder how much that's going to impact this election.
Yeah, no, I mean, if Utah were to go blue, then, I mean, even though it's just 6 electoral votes, but like Utah going blue, that's a pretty significant thing. So yeah, clearly the, the overall political compass of the country is changing as far as where people are at if a place like Utah goes blue.
Yeah.
Shout out. Let me give a shout out here to Naughty Vegan. What's up, Naughty Vegan? Thank you very much for the Super Chat contribution. I'm very disappointed that my candidate, Giant Meteor 2020, completely missed the planet yesterday. Just wait till 2024. 2020 sucks.
I donated to Giant Meteor.
Yeah, I mean, I was a Giant Meteor. I was a friend to Giant Meteor. I couldn't really get behind Giant Meteor full-throatedly. I thought that Giant Meteor kind of missed the mark on a couple environmental issues. I mean, I still
full on destroying the environment. You weren't in favor of that. That was not your platform.
I was always on Team Dinosaur, and I felt like Team Media, they still will not. I mean, they won't talk about it in the debates. You bring it up, they just shut you down right away. It's
Right.
not even welcome in the Overton window realm of conversation, which is a big problem here in the country. So, I think that was just a miss by big media that I could not pardon. Call me a purist, call me whatever you want, but I couldn't get on board.
All right, interesting. Let's read a super chat here. Ahmad Arandi, Shave Your Knuckles for Justice. Jimmy has to go on Katie Halper. What's the latest on Florida, Georgia, Arizona, Nevada, North Carolina, New Hampshire? We all know Biden are worse because they're so insidious and sinister. That's interesting. Yeah, all right. Let's go back to the big board again real quick here. So Nevada hasn't reported anything because the polls don't close until for another 39 minutes. So all these West Coast states, Idaho, Washington, Oregon, California, Nevada, they haven't reported yet. Let's go back to Georgia. Let's see what Georgia's doing now.
Yeah, what's up with Georgia? You're on my mind, Georgia.
Looks like Trump is starting to walk away with a little bit. 52% of the total precincts are reporting. Trump has now a 13-point lead. So here's it's in DeKalb County, which only has 1% voted, and Fulton County, which only has 32%, and Cobb County. If these counties, if DeKalb County, I mean, right now at this point, DeKalb County would have to bring in, I don't know how many people even live in that county, but I don't think there's enough to sway this for Biden, because, I mean, unless Hancock County or Houston County, I don't see Biden getting Georgia.
No. I mean, North Carolina, we'll see what happens there. And it looks like it's still about the same. It's Donald Trump has a slight lead over Joe Biden now, but it's neck and neck. 89% is reported, but there's a 0.6 percentage difference. So North Carolina is pretty much tied. It's possible that goes to Biden. It's possible it goes to Trump. Trump has a lead in Pennsylvania, which is that's a bigger one as far as the contest goes. Pennsylvania, if Trump wins Pennsylvania, that's huge for Donald Trump, and a huge loss for Joe Biden. Again, I think it comes down to the big Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin. And I think that if Biden wins at least one of them, I think this will likely go to Biden. If Biden loses all three of them, it's over, and it's going to Trump.
Yep.
But yeah. So far, I mean, I think that's the interesting surprise here. I think so far the biggest surprise, just in general, would be if Arizona does go blue. I mean, that was a big swing, and if that does go blue, that'll be a big surprise. Thus far, that'll be the biggest. That's a much bigger surprise than Virginia, and all the states that Donald Trump won. These were all states you knew the Republican was going to win.
Yeah, if Biden gets Arizona, but doesn't get North Carolina or Georgia or Florida, I mean, then he's got to run the table of like Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, Minnesota. He's got to run that table. I don't know how he does that. I just don't know how he does that.
Yeah, I think Minnesota, I don't think he has to worry. I know there was that grumblings that, Trump might get Minnesota. I don't know, man. I'd be surprised. Minnesota has not gone red in a presidential since 1972.
Yeah.
I don't see it going red for the first time for a Donald Trump. I mean, I would just be very surprised if something like that happened. Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, I'd be surprised if Biden lost all three of them, but he might just get one of them. I mean, it might just be Biden gets Michigan, Trump gets Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, which then again, it's still anyone's ball game if that happens. And that could very feasibly happen. I think Trump gets Ohio. Trump gets Florida. So there's not a ton of surprises, but Biden needs to win a couple Midwest states. I think there's a chance he only wins one of them.
Yeah.
So Graham, I actually have to hop off here because I'm checking in with the Green Party. But we'll see. I'll check back, and then I'm checking in with the Convo Couch too at some point. Thank you for the super chats. Natural Progressive, A Mares, podcast by George, Jose Flores, A Mares, Naughty Vegan. Thank you guys so much. And again, folks, patreon.com/Ron Placone. I'm getting demonetized daily. We're all getting demonetized daily. I have a lot of fun perks. I'll make you your own theme song. That's one of my patron perks now. I make theme songs for people. It's a lot of fun, and it's all for a give what you can level. Whatever level you're comfortable giving, everybody gets all the same perks. You get a private Zoom show once a week. You get the replay of my patrons stream once a week. And then you can get your own theme song if you want one. Patreon.com/Ron Placone. And again, on November 21st, Graham and I have a big show that you don't want to miss.
Yes, and you can buy tickets. Tickets are $10. And it is just go to my Venmo at Graham-Elwood, and please specify, because people donate to my Venmo for the super chats and other things. They ask me questions. So specify the November 21st comedy show. And it's $10 a person. And then right before the show time, which will be 6 o'clock Pacific, 9 o'clock Eastern, we're trying to move it up a little bit so it's a little not as late for the East Coast folks. And we'll send you a Zoom link right before then. We haven't done one of these big comedy shows in a while. We want to do more comedy shows over the winter because we know people are going to be inside more. And more shutdowns might be coming our way. They're shutting down Europe. So we might be more shutdowns coming our way. So just specify tickets for the November 21st comedy show with Ron and I. All the characters will be there. We might have a renaming for Shimshay. There's a whole thing happening since they found his cat, Theo. He lost his home in the fire, but he's safe. His wife is safe. So
all right.
We're going to rename that character. So I don't want to offend the actual dude who lost his home in the fire. I don't want to do that. So check that out, Ron. Have fun. Tell everybody of the Green Party I said hey.
Will do. I'll tell the Convo Couch as well. And tell Peter Lavelle I said hey if I don't see you before then.
I will.
All right. Be well, everybody. Happy, I don't know if it's happy election night is appropriate, but
if I go,
be well. There's still stuff to be hopeful for.
If I go live after Crosstalk, which will be about 10 o'clock at night on the West Coast, I'll let you know. Otherwise, maybe I know you're moving tomorrow, but if you got time in the afternoon tomorrow, maybe just jump on my show for a little bit because I'll be live tomorrow sorting all this out because I don't think it's going to be decided tonight. So
yeah, we're not going to know everything. All right. Be well, everybody. Peace.
Bye, buddy. Septian Patterson. Sorry. Shaving Knuckles for Justice. Why the fuck is Nina Turner on TYT? Help me understand. I don't know, man. I got mad respect for Nina Turner, and I wish she would just run herself or get out of the Democratic Party. I don't know. I don't know why she thinks she can reform the Democratic Party from within. She was on the Movement for a People's Party convention that I did back in August, which was really cool. It was an honor to be on it with her. I don't know her personally. I got such respect, but I just don't see this Democratic Party getting, I don't know. Yeah, somebody said probably because TYT asked her, and she'll go on. Look, she'll go on any news platform. What's up, Carl? Alex Gemini, what's up, Soul? Alex Gemini is another independent artist that's got a new album coming out soon. I can't wait to hear it myself. Dap the E-Vegan. Boom. DeKalb County in Georgia is highly populated and highly Democrat. Don't count Georgia out yet. Oh, well, now. Let's bring that up. Let's bring up the map again. All right, that's good to know about DeKalb County. All right, let's go talk about, this is what was just said to us. Okay, so Trump right now has a 12-point lead. DeKalb County only has 1% of the votes counted. So it could be very big for Biden, bigger than right now, but it's going to need a lot because right now you're talking about, 300 some thousand votes right now. Trump has a lead. So you would need a significant swing from there. But all right, we won't count it all yet. And then if Fulton County, so what you need is obviously DeKalb County to go big for Biden, and then way more votes coming in Fulton County, which is where Atlanta is. So that's inside the perimeter, as I'm told. All right. Yeah, it's not over yet, I guess. Not over yet. Montana. What? See, now this is interesting. Now, this goes back to what I was saying. Right now, Biden has a 20-point lead in Montana. Montana's only 3 electoral votes. But a bunch of people I know from California have moved to Missoula and Great Falls and Billings, right? Missoula's more of a kind of a liberal college town. This is all not a lot of people spread out over all these other counties here. Park County. This is if Montana and Arizona go Biden, I got to wonder how many of it is from new people from California that moved there. I've heard about this Montana and Idaho and Utah, the rents and property values going because these people from California that have a lot of money are buying places there because you can get way more for your money. The minute you leave, if you take your California wages and you spend them somewhere else, you get a lot more for your money. Interesting. Utah, 6 electoral votes. Trump has a 6-point lead. How is Biden's lead expanding in Arizona? 75% of estimated votes reported. Tucson, 80%, and Phoenix, Maricopa County is 77%. Still don't know Apache County yet. And Navajo County, very close. Interesting. Huh. Early exit polls of Arizona show voters over 65 prefer Biden by 5 percentage points. In other words, this is not your grandparents' Arizona, full of conservative retirees. Interesting. Let's go into Ohio. Right now, Trump has about a 5-point lead. He's leading by about 230,000 votes. Everybody is completely reported, but we've got 74% of estimated votes. Yeah, Columbus went heavily. Hamilton County, where Cincinnati is going heavy for Biden. The county right next to it is going heavy for Trump. Toledo, Lucas County, where Toledo is. Interesting. Yeah, I don't know, but I don't know if Biden can. 68% of the votes were in Summit County and 64% in Cuyahoga County. I don't know. It might not be enough for Biden to win Ohio. Might not be enough. Florida. Let's see what Florida's doing, ladies and gentlemen. Donald Trump has about a 3-point lead. 3.4 lead, 3.4%. Miami has almost everything's reported in Florida. Yeah, looks like Trump might win. Might win Florida. Yep. Interesting. Interesting. Missouri, they've given to Trump. Kansas, they've given to Trump. So right now, Biden has a slim lead. Iowa, they're saying 20% of the votes coming in. They're saying right now it's heavy for Biden. You still haven't Polk County where Des Moines is. That'll be interesting. That'll be interesting to see. According to AMARS, that doesn't look promising. Let's read some more super chats, folks. Kate, what's up, our moderator, Kate? 384 people watching, ladies and gentlemen. We have 611 likes. I love it. Share this out on your social media. Great way to support the show. And everybody over at the Rockfin, what's up? Free Assange, please. Alvin Carolus, Russia. Volume is much better on Rockfin than YouTube. Interesting. Now you can see right. Thank you, everybody watching over on the Rockfin. Share it on your social media. Kate Sagar from Rising on the Hill said he thinks that the neoliberal college grads are going to be the violent meltdown ones if Trump wins. Thoughts? They might just lose it. Yeah, that might be the tipping point. The neoliberal college grads are just going to be like, we're done. I don't know. If Trump wins, it's going to be interesting to see the reaction. It's going to be interesting to see. Hey, obviously his supporters are going to run around and woo, but I think the reaction to that is the thing that might even be crazier. That might be crazier. The Trumpers going in your face, we won, get out, and people going, nope. I don't know. Rather, there's just some people might be like, I'm leaving America. And some people might be like, nah, you know what? We're staying and we're fighting. I don't know. That could be absolutely true. What Sagar said. That could be absolutely true. That's very interesting. Very interesting. Sharif Snugs, what's up, dude? Shaving Knuckles for Justice. I think this election will end up in the Supreme Court. Democrats did not fight against Amy Coney Bennett. Yeah. You see the long-term play. I mean, everyone's like, this is so important for the Supreme Court. It's like the Democrats already gave it up. If Ruth Bader Ginsburg was asked to step down during Obama's second term, and she wouldn't. She was in her 80s, and she wouldn't. And then Scalia dies, and Obama, in his last months as president, could have forced in, and he didn't. Every time they have a chance, they just don't. They just don't. Healing, love all. Thank you for that. Corn Pop 2020. He's a bad dude, Corn Pop. Corn Pop's a bad dude. Yeah, if it goes to the courts, that's the other thing. Goes to the courts, then the Supreme Court says Trump wins. And then what? Is Sager right? And then all these neoliberals finally just go, we're done, and they just lose their shit? Like what happened in Portland just goes nationwide? I don't know. Nico Loa. I went to a voting place to hand out flyers for Movement for People's Party on Saturday and asked people if they were happy with the two-party system. About 85% of the people said they were, which was quite surprising and sad. Wow. Oh. All right, America, you get the government you deserve. You're really happy with the system? That's insane to me. God, that bums me out. That bums me out. Robin Hood, ba-boom, shave your knuckles for justice. Regardless of the results, it's a lose-lose situation. Yeah, you got right that. You got that right. Other countries wisely don't want American migrants. Well, that's the other thing, too. People are going to say, man, I'm leaving America. And it's like, you can't go anywhere. Especially with the numbers spiking, the COVID numbers spiking. People are going to be like, hey, man, you got to stay there. We don't want you. And Americans are just going to have to stay and go, all right, what are we going to do? If you hand out flyers in suburbia for Movement for a People's Party, they are perfectly happy. Go to the rundown forgotten communities and ask them if they're happy. That's a great point. That's a great point. $635 likes, everybody. Graham needs to do this shirtless. You got it, Zach Freethinker. Gene Scheid, shave him. Corey Bush won. Oh, all right. Good to know. Good to know, ladies and gentlemen. Breaking news. Corey Bush just won. 0Q7X. You're making Gotham great again. Jimmy Dore's stream went down suddenly 15 minutes ago. I'm suspect as fuck right now. What's your take, Graham, Paco, Elwood? You know, they're pulling us all down. I mean, that's why I simulcast on Rockfin. That's why I simulcast on Rockfin. Because right now, this is why I'm simulcasting on Rockfin right now. Because let's say they pull my stream down right now. I just say, everyone is watching right now. If my stream suddenly goes black, go to rockfin.com/Graham Elwood. That's where I'll be if it were to happen. And Jimmy's on Rockfin, so he should go over there. KC, boom. I'm a black woman in Ohio, and I voted for Howie Hawkins. I'm a progressive, but there is something satisfying to see neoliberals get the smackdown. I know. It's like, you know, it's going to be really interesting when all the dust settles from this in the next couple of days to actually look at the third-party vote numbers and really see how many votes. I bet you we're going to see record numbers of third-party votes and write-in candidates. I bet you we're going to see a record number because there's so many people such as me and UKC and a lot of people, most of the people in the chat here voted third party. Some of you wrote in Bernie. I wrote in Jesse Ventura. Some of you voted Howie Hawkins, right on. Some of you voted, I think, what was it? Peace and Freedom was La Riva. Go for it. I'm all for it, man. When you add all those up, I think it's going to be pretty significant. Like last 4 years ago, you had over 8 million people voted for the Libertarian and Greens, 7 million for Gary Johnson, and over 1 million people for Jill Stein, right? That was 8 million people. That was something. That was a significant number. And I think this election is going to be, I don't know, maybe bigger. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. Leahy Whitaker, boom, 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 boom. Visual comparison to tonight's election equals people cheering Bush at ground zero and for killing Iraqis. I know. I know. I know. I'm going to get to 8 o'clock and see what the West Coast brings. And then around 8:15, 8:30, I'm going to take a break because I've been talking for 2.5 hours. because I go live at 9 o'clock. Remember, 9 o'clock Pacific time tonight, I will be on Crosstalk. And look, I'll be live all week, man, because we're not going to get definitive answers. Ranked choice voting. I voted Dario Hunter. Right on. When can we arrest Andrew Cuomo for criminally negligent homicide? Exactly. Ventura needs to run for Congress. He needs to run for president. Watching neolibs melt down and all this is a self-deluded surprise is quite a kick. I know. Check my Venmo. Well, that's what that song is. Yeah, don't worry. I'll end tonight on a song, kids. Thank you, Jill, for the ticket for the comedy show. For an election night song, please rock. Okay, I always felt sing Shatner singing Dusty Springfield's Vietnam War song. Yeah, I will. Don't worry. I will sing that. Tonight, we're watching America collapse tonight. All right, let me move this. Oh, it's like so hard to find. All the office chairs are like on back order because everyone's working at home now. So it's like I can't get like an office chair. What's up, everybody over on the Rockford? Rockford. On the Rockford. All right, let's go to the big board, ladies and gentlemen. Big board. The Lincoln Project is neoliberal. It's far right neoconservative that would put in a fascist in a heartbeat if they didn't tweet on the crapper at 3 a.m. Oh, Michael Moore called this outcome. I did see the Venmo. I did see the memo. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, 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 boom. Let's go to the big board, ladies and gentlemen. North Carolina. Oh, wow. Is like 1 point. We're talking about 60,000 votes determine North Carolina. 93% of our precincts are in. There's still this precinct hasn't voted yet. And this one. So there's no more. There's only one precinct that hasn't reported yet, Granville County. It's going to be interesting. Yeah, unless some of these late reporting counties in North Carolina change, Biden could lose North Carolina. That does not look good. Pennsylvania only has 37% voting. Georgia is 59% of the votes counted. All right. DeKalb County still at 1% voter count. Wow, interesting. So DeKalb County, there's no numbers in from DeKalb. All right. Let's go back to Arizona. We were talking about Arizona. Wow, Biden has expanded his lead in Arizona. Wow. Biden made a big bid to reclaim union voters, but in Ohio, union voters went for Trump over Biden by 56 to 42%, according to exit polls. Interesting. Well, look at Arizona here. It's significant that Biden is... These counties are the most populated. Now, this one up here, Cochino County, is where Flagstaff, Arizona is, and Biden is running away with that. So this is the big wild card here, but I don't see a county that's primarily Native American going overwhelmingly for Trump. I don't see that happening. You never know. But even with that, still 80% of Pima County and 77% of Maricopa County, you could see Biden just expand his lead. Biden could win Arizona, which is really interesting. Utah, yeah, it looks like Utah is going to go full Trump. Montana, Biden, look at this. Yeah, these other cities haven't come in yet. It's interesting. That'd be weird if Biden doesn't win North Carolina or Georgia, but he wins Arizona and Montana. That'd be interesting. Let's go to Michigan. Only 38% of estimated votes reported. And they will take until November 6th to count all the ballots. A lot of these counties haven't reported yet. Interesting. Wisconsin. Let's go to Wisconsin now. 40% of the votes come in right now. Trump has a 1.7% lead. Governor Tony Evers said he expects to know the results on election night or by the day after. Officials in Milwaukee, which could be the latest to report, have said results could take until 3 to 6 a.m. on Wednesday. Wow, this is going to take forever. Door County, which is like a vacation area. My family used to go up there every summer, still does. These counties haven't recorded. Milwaukee is the largest city there, so there's only 28% reporting in Milwaukee County, but there's over 1 million people in that county. So that could be a big thing where Biden pulls off a lot. He might get Door County, Kewaunee County, maybe. Some of these in here are probably almost assuredly going to go for Trump. But you got these little counties in here, Menominee and whatnot. Interesting. Ohio is starting to lean Trump. Not good. 82% of precincts reporting. Trump has, he's got almost a 7-point lead. Ohio's looking like it's going. Yeah. So if Biden doesn't get Ohio, that's why Pennsylvania is so critical, because Ohio is 18 electoral votes. Pennsylvania is 20 electoral votes. And if it doesn't get Michigan, yeah, this doesn't look good for Michigan. Maybe because people just don't like the governor and she's a Democrat. I don't know why. Minnesota, pretty heavy for Biden. Iowa, 6 electoral votes. Still leaning Biden. He's got about 100,000 vote lead. He's got a 15-point lead. 43% of the precincts. A lot of precincts haven't even reported yet. That's another big city. Sioux City's kind of big, but these are the big cities. Cedar Rapids and Des Moines are the biggest cities, obviously. Interesting. 89 years ago, you grew tomatoes in your kitchen? 8 to 9 years ago, I think you're probably want to say. Milwaukee girls are crazy. 660 likes, ladies and gentlemen. Ah. Teresa 78201. I bought my chair used from a local business. I'm going to look into that. Maybe there's a business that like could make a little. I just need one of those like. I'm sitting on this like stool thing, and it kind of. I usually like standing, but I live stream so much now that even standing is like becoming too much. But yeah, that's a good suggestion. Just go to a business and say, I'll buy a chair from you. Yeah, I'll buy a used office chair. What do you think now, kids? Boom, 40, 50 bucks. We're in, we're out. I love it. Montana's going to lose a Republican senator. Wow. Nine years ago, Snark Y2K. Yeah, it might be going to court, Sharif. You might be right. Is Ron Placone back? Let's bring Ron Placone back on the big board, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, Graham.
What's up, buddy? So we are about 2-3 minutes away from the West Coast polls all closing.
I know. If you're still in line, stay in line, though. That's what people are tweeting out.
Yeah.
I've seen that some on the Twitter sphere. And I'll give a shout out to Luis Brooks. Luis Brooks says, thank you for your Super Chat contribution. I voted third party in Virginia today. Who knew we were a swing state? Guess Biden should have tried to get my vote. I'm a 35 years blue no matter who. So over it. Over it. I think that's a sentiment a lot of us are feeling right now. We're so over this. We are so freaking over this.
I'm done with this. I mean, watching the debates, watching the Democratic the Republican convention was what you thought it would be. The Democratic convention where they trotted out Republicans.
Yeah.
And the strategy was to get suburban Republicans. It's just like, when are people and when the neoliberals blame us again, it's like, fuck you, you guys. If I say this, and I'm going to just say this for the next year, probably on this show and online, I'm going to just keep saying it over and over. If you liberals spend as much time holding the Democratic Party as accountable as you do us who just demand certain things, the Democratic Party might actually change.
Yeah.
But they just want to get mad at us.
Yeah. They want to blame us, and it's, I mean, and we're starting to see history repeat itself. I mean, these aren't.
Well, it's not brain surgery. It's like, well, gee, they ran a centrist in 2016. They cheated in their own primary. So in 2020, how about we cheat the same guy in the primary again and then run another centrist, or actually more of a conservative?
Yeah, because their first priority isn't winning. And we know this. I mean, we've been saying it, but it's like when you have to continue the cycle over and over again, you got to keep repeating it until it just becomes ingrained in people's minds, so they're just like ready to actually do something about it and break this duopoly, which needs to happen. The first priority of the Democratic Party is not winning. Their first priority is making sure the donors are happy. After they accomplish that, if they can beat a Republican, great. If not, no big deal. It's not that freaking big of a deal. And I know that doesn't apply to everyone. That doesn't apply to all the grassroots people trying to get in. But the establishment, the people really calling the shots, the people that prop up the Joe Bidens, that's where they're at. That is where they're at. And a lot of them are probably already in bed because they don't really care what happens. It's not going to impact their lives.
Nope.
In fact, fundraising might be a little tougher if Trump loses for them. Nancy Pelosi's job might get a little tougher if Donald Trump loses. And she knows that.
this happened in 2016. In 2017, the donation for the Democrats was at an all-time low.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone's like, who's going to run? Who's going to be the real progressive? And Bernie finally said he was running again. It was like, okay, here we go. This time will be different. It's like, and we're going to have to listen, 2 years from now, we're going to have to listen to this. We got to take over the Senate and the state. And oh, shut up. This party you can't fix it. It doesn't want to win. I mean, Joe Biden was their candidate. The Democratic Party picked this. The Joe Mentum shit was completely manufactured. Like, we all paid attention. The Democrats cheat in their own primary. No one and the vote any blue will do. People just want to go to brunch for 4 years, wake up in like every October and kind of go, oh, I guess I'm going for this one or whatever. And they don't want to pay attention. And it's like, Imad Orandi, just for gratitude. I'm playing poker. Wish me luck. Also pray for shit libs melting. Trump winning Messi would be better, like with SCOTUS and such. Yeah, I know.
Luis Brooks, I think the DNC wanted Kamala or Pete, and when we didn't fall in line, they just shoved in Joe and Kamala because they want to lose. I think so. I think definitely Kamala was the anointed one. Yeah, there's no doubt about that. And then when people said no, they were like, well, let's try Warren. People still were not on board. Let's try Pete. People still were not on board. They were like, let's try Beto. People still weren't on board. They were like, let's try Beto and some really cool denim. People still weren't on board. They were like, all right, we're shoving Biden down your throats. Screw you. And then we're going to shove Kamala in because she'll be the VP pick. And he's not. He's either going to not run for re-elect. If he does become president, which it's looking like the chances are becoming slimmer for that. If he does become president, he may not even last his 4 years. If he does, he sure as hell isn't running for re-election.
Ron, is this considered early? But they just have announced the whole West Coast for Biden, Washington, Oregon, and California. Is this too early? Is it late enough?
I mean,
it's 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
That's early in the night.
Well, they called it literally as soon as polls close.
4 years ago?
No. They called it early 4 years ago.
Oh, okay.
Technically, the polls have closed, but yeah, I mean, they called it as early as they could instead of waiting. So yeah, that's definitely not a good sign. I mean, it's not early, but it's certainly not. They didn't let any dust settle. They just called it. 0% is reporting, and they called the West Coast.
Gonna win. Jesus. Jay Inslee, Democrat, wins re-election to Washington State. Wow, you're right, dude. I mean, because there's nothing reported, and they're just calling these states just to make it seem like more of a horse race, so people keep tuning in. Oh boy, wow. So if Trump is winning North Carolina, Trump is winning Georgia, Trump is winning Pennsylvania, Trump is winning Ohio, Trump is winning Michigan, Trump is winning Wisconsin.
I mean, if he cleans up all those states, it's over.
It's over.
It's completely over. So, yeah. I
mean, Arizona's shockingly going for Biden. Utah, not surprisingly going. Montana is surprisingly going for Biden. And my theory is that a lot of Californians moved up to Montana. So Biden could take Arizona and Montana, which would be like shocking. But again, if he loses Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Ohio, it's a done.
He can't win, or excuse me, he can't lose all three of those and still win the election. He has to win at least one of them, at least.
Yeah.
And it's not looking good in all three right now.
He's got to win one of them in Pennsylvania. Like at this point, I mean, unless he wins Wisconsin, Michigan, and I mean, Ohio, I don't think there's no way he can win Ohio.
So yeah, he's not winning Ohio. It's got to be, I mean, yeah, it's pretty much right where we were at. Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin. If Biden wins at least one of them, it's still a competition. He loses all three, Trump won. I mean, it's over.
So here's the scenario that's interesting. We're not going to know Pennsylvania till later, till tomorrow morning, till Friday, November 6th, they're saying.
Yeah, we're not going to know.
We're not going to know. So Michigan, we're not going to know until November 6th. Wisconsin, we're not going to know till tomorrow morning. So it's that thing we talked about on this show. It's a thing Lee Camp said, Trump's going to declare victory tonight. And then if it comes back, actually Biden won Pennsylvania and he won Michigan.
It'll go to the courts.
It'll go to the courts.
And they'll declare Trump the winner.
They'll declare Trump the winner.
So, I mean, I would say, hey, last night someone asked me and I said, I think 60-40, Trump's not going anywhere. Yeah. So this was, I think the more likely scenario. And, I mean, the dust isn't completely settled yet, but I mean, it's looking like there's a good chance when you look at all the scenarios that Trump doesn't go anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
So.
So it's 8, 9.
So that's.
Yeah. It's Hawaii or Alaska. Yeah. Hawaii and Alaska's poll close at midnight and 1 a.m. But Alaska might be the crazy thing. We're going to wake up and see Jesse Ventura as one, which would be.
Well, I mean, the lesson to be learned is it's time to start drafting our leaders. I mean, that was the Greeks had that idea. The Greeks toyed with that idea where they were like, well, you shouldn't be able to decide you want to run for office. We should recruit you. I think that's the way it should be. You can't nominate yourself for an award. You can't do that. And can you imagine how shitty it would be if you could? Can you imagine how much worse the Grammys would be if that was the case? If you could just buy your way into a nomination the way you can in politics? Imagine that. Hey, I'm up for Best Rock Album. Why? Because my dad owns Coca-Cola. That's why.
Yeah.
Listen to my album, Trust Fund Blues, and our hit single, I've Never Had a Real Problem. And it would just be this shitty, insipid garbage.
Well, the Grammys are pretty shitty, but I mean, like, the Emmys, you nominate yourself.
Do you?
Yes.
How does that work? How do you nominate yourself?
You submit yourself to the Emmys. Like, I want to submit my role or my team. Like, I submit when I was directing that FNX show, I submitted.
So you submit yourself for consideration.
For consideration, yes.
That's still a little bit different.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's still not as bad as like our system where you're like, I'm running, and you can just buy your way into a nomination.
Joe Biden wins New Hampshire. I think you're right, dude. They're definitely.
They called it as soon as they could. That is a sign that the Republicans not going anywhere.
Yeah. So to keep it like, but Biden's in the lead. That's what they're doing. And it's like.
My cat's excited. She knows something's up. She knows there's boxes everywhere. She's like, I've been through this before. Here, say hi, Lucy. It's election. Say your election hello. There, she blends in with the screen a little bit, so. But she says hi. There she goes, running around, being all cat-like, doing her thing.
It looks like Florida is going to go for Trump.
Yeah, Florida's going Trump. Louise, I was in Western Washington for a ton this year. Wow. Oh, this is interesting. Western Washington, all Trump signs, and Eastern Washington is its own animal. They are mail-in ballots only, have been for years, but still, it's too early to call. Western Washington. Well, I mean, I think Washington State will go blue. But, yeah, I mean, the states that are really, I mean, it's coming down to the Midwest, which everyone has known it was going to come down to the Midwest. And it looks like Biden's falling short right now in all three of them. I mean, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, Michigan. If the Democrats cannot win one of those states against Donald Trump, I mean, that is so pathetic beyond comprehension. It is so pathetic beyond comprehension that it's even this close. I mean, it's insane. It's absolutely insane. This lunatic, narcissist, completely mishandled a pandemic every step of the way, has no clue what he's doing. And that's abundantly apparent. Completely mishandled this every way imaginable. Some of the worst leadership in general. And I get it, a pandemic, that doesn't happen often. So how can you really compare it? But, well, you can compare it to every other industrialized country in the world. We're a laughing stock, a freaking laughing stock. And he's likely not going anywhere. I mean, it's unreal. And even if Joe Biden somehow squeaks in, which he might still, it's not over, but even if Joe Biden squeaks in, what does it tell you? And it'll be funny if he does, watching these neoliberals, see, we're fine, we got this. Really? You're fine? What if we learned about your party since 2016? Hey, when we can really win, unless it's in a state where we can't freaking lose? Unless it's somewhere where we just can't lose, because demographic-wise, we can't lose. We can really win if our opponent is either a pedophile, like in Alabama, when Doug Jones squeaked by.
Yep.
If our opponent is a pedophile, or our opponent completely mishandles a pandemic, can't denounce white supremacists. If those are our opponents, we might squeak by. We might be seen as slightly less repulsive than that. And this is why you have open neo-Nazis running in Illinois. This is why, right here. Because you can't beat Donald Trump. And it's by design that you can't beat Donald Trump. They had the guy at their door fucking twice, ready to beat Donald Trump. And they shot him in the knee both times.
Yep.
I mean, what a shit show. This is a shit show.
Yeah. People really feel that there's no difference. Emblem Fate. I'm going to go party with my MAGA bros. What racist conspiracy do you think they'll make if Biden loses Russian, Korean bots that control the minds of blacks? Oh, Jesus. Yeah. Who knows? America is a failed state and it's collapsing in real time.
Yep.
Because we don't have an opposition party. We have two parties that are both for war, two parties that are both for-profit prisons, for-profit healthcare, that won't do anything to change the environment. That's what we have. There's no opposition party. So we just have this bullshit crap,
I mean, I'll see if there's any good news down ballot. I mean, let's see. I mean, maybe there's some good proposition news in California.
Yeah, we'll make it some good propositions, Pat. Look for some down ballot news because I'm going to sing this song as Shatner, and then I'm going to take a break and get some dinner because I got to go live at 9, so I need to take a break because this we've been talking for 3 hours.
Yeah. Let's call it here. I'll look for some down ballot news.
I called the shit show yesterday. Truth to tweet. Local direct democracy assemblies are only thing that matter moving forward. Yep. Hold on, Ron. Update from corporate press.
Oh,
good news.
boy.
Looks like Oregon is passing campaign finance reform. That is good news. Thank you for reporting that for us, Backyard Politics. Check out Nikki's show. She's got a fantastic show. While you're watching mine, make sure you're subscribed. They have literally unsubscribed thousands of people. So if you were subscribed to my show, you might have been unsubscribed. If you've never subscribed, just do it. It's so valuable. So we can keep reporting and stuff like this. Matt S., Shave Your Knuckles for Justice. How would you propose making a third party viable? Well, first of all, like Ron's talking about, like the draft Jesse movement. Jesse was like, if enough people got behind him, he would have done it. If there was this groundswell, you have to get somebody. Look, Howie Hawkins is the original architect of the Green New Deal. I give him credit for that. He's a Russiagator. He's also tied. Maybe there's corruption within the Green Party. All that is like, nobody knows who he is. Then there's those other things floating around him. I applaud him for creating the Green New Deal. And anyone that voted for him today, great. It sends a message, right? But you need somebody like Jesse Vent. Americans aren't going to vote for a no-name.
Well, especially when you have everything. I mean, yeah, the Green Party, when they've made some splashes, it's when they've had somebody, like a Ralph Nader, who already had a little heat behind him in other worlds, more so than just within the Green Party. When Jello Biafra was shaking some things up in the Green Party. I mean, yeah, to really make a dent as a third party, the way it's set up now, that kind of comes with the territory. If you really want to make that dent and reach that 5% threshold, that is still doesn't make you a level playing field contender, but certainly helps because it'll get you that federal funding, and that's a big deal. I think some of the things that the Greens are doing that I really like is they're really doing a lot in the fight for ranked choice voting, which, and I think a lot of their efforts there often go under the radar, but they have done a lot in that charge, which I think is good for all third parties to be doing, because that really helps the cause a lot as far as helping our electoralism.
Yeah, if you're going to win a presidency with either a party that already exists, the Green Party, or a new party like Movement for a People's Party or something like that, you need big name people. This is America. You need stars. You need celebrity status. I mean, that's how everybody knew who Donald Trump was. When he said he was running for president, everybody laughed. He's nuts, whatever, but everybody knew who he was.
Right.
Everybody knew who he was. So you got to run and that's why Jesse Ventura is a great candidate, but you gotta recruit these, like you say. It's somebody I want to be president. Oh man, then they're a psycho. You need somebody that people can get behind. Somebody. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, in a perfect world, saying I want to be president disqualifies you from ever running.
Someone's asking about Crosstalk is a show on RT. That I'm going to be on. All right, Jerome Davis, what do you think about states seceding? It seems unlikely that we can ever coalesce the country to agree on many things. Why not split? I've talked about this. I was talking about this the other day. Maybe California should just split now. I mean, if California, Oregon, and Washington just secede, and if Arizona wants to join us, or Hawaii or whatever, great. But we got to.
If there was ever a real plan, I'd be open to looking at it. I mean, so far, all the stuff that you've ever seen as far as how they would do that, they were all just a bunch of ridiculous corporate type, thought up in a corporate think tank, where basically they would siphon off California to be their corporate playground. So, I mean, I certainly would be skeptical of the plan first. I would want to read into it. But if there was ever a real solid plan to do something like that, I'd certainly be open to looking into it, because, yeah, I mean, we're not, the United States as we know it, which, of course, our society was not here first, but the society that we know is the contemporary United States that, that we were born into, that all of us were born into. It's still a very young experiment. And, I don't think it's totally out of line to say, well, there's a good chance the experiment's over.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a good chance we had a good run for a little bit. There were some upsides. There were some lessons to be learned. But, I mean, we're plummeting hard. And, it's not without its spots of hope or without its silver linings. And there might still be some good news. I mean, there's still a lot of propositions here in California. We haven't heard anything on that yet. We're still waiting on that. So it's certainly not all for naught, but there's no sugarcoating this. We're in very bad shape.
Look, and the reason we have Trump is because of the Democrats. And the voting in blue will do people. I don't know. Maybe some of them will wake up to this. Probably not. They'll just keep screaming. They just won't. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. So let's the progressive guy that has gotten more individual donors than anyone ever, that has raised more money than anyone ever, the guy that's bringing all these people into politics who never gave a shit or felt like their vote mattered. Let's shun that guy twice. And voting blue, they think Bernie is some sort of like Mike Gravel, like this sort of novelty guy. They don't understand how popular he was. They
I
shoved him
think,
in favor of a corporate Democrat. They lose to this fascist, psycho. And it's like they're so puzzled as to how this keeps happening. And then they do the same thing over and over again. They can go fuck themselves. This is what they deserve. This is what they deserve. Democratic Party is such a bag of shit.
See, I don't know, man. I mean, as much as there's a lot of, people out there and, especially in the Twitterverse and so, places like that say ridiculous things and have hurled, ridiculous insults at all of us, calling us Russian bots or whatever. I still contend that as a society, we don't deserve this. The American people deserve better than this because this is the ruling class pulling the strings. They have the media helping them out. They have an intense propaganda machine helping them out. They have the donors and the advertisers helping them out. And they pit us against each other. And this is all by design. And no group of people, what group of people deserves that? Who just deserves that? And I get America's a terrible empire, but again, that's also all by design too. So it's not like, I mean.
Yeah. All right. We still have until Friday. We're not going to know a real answer until Thursday or Friday, but Trump's going to declare a winner tonight. If he hasn't already, he's going to.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to sing the song as William Shatner.
All right, buddy. I'll let you sing your song as William Shatner. Let me give a thank you to everybody. Thank you, Luis. Thank you, Natural Progressive. Thank you, A. Maris. Thank you, George. Thank you, Jose. Thank you, A. Maris again, Naughty Vegan, Luis Brooks. Everybody, again, Twitter, @Ron Placone, ronplacone.com, patreon.com/Ron Placone for a Give What You Can level. You can get your own theme song. I do my own. I make theme songs for people. You join my Patreon, Give What You Can level. You can get your own theme song. I'm going to let Graham do his song. And don't forget about our show on November 21st.
Yes. Some of you already bought tickets. Go to @Graham-Elwood on Venmo. The tickets are $10. And just let me know that you are buying a ticket for the November 21st comedy show because I get other donations in Venmo. It's $10 each. And we will send out a Zoom link right around showtime. The show will be 6 p.m. Pacific time, 9 o'clock Eastern time on the 21st of November. Ron, thank you so much. If I go on later tonight, I'll bring you on, but otherwise have a safe move. And we will talk soon, my friend. Maybe you can steal off tomorrow to jump on my show.
Yeah, I'll probably need a break at some point to yell. All right, buddy. Be well.
All right,
Lucy
dude.
said meow. Peace.
All right. This is as William Shatner, and then I'm going to take a break. This is courtesy of Truth to Tweet. Thank you for supporting me. She donated on the Venmo. If there's anyone else on the Venmo, I will read your question. Thank you for supporting what we do. Go to patreon.com/Graham Elwood, rockfin.com/Graham Elwood. Here we go. There's something happening here. What it is ain't exactly clear. There's a man with a phaser over there telling me I got to be where? I think it's time we stop. Children, what's that sound? Everybody, look, what's going down? There's battle lines being drawn. Nobody's right if everybody's wrong. Young people speaking their minds are getting so much resistance from behind. It's time we stop. Hey, what's that sound? Scotty, everybody look what's going down.
What a field day for the heat. 1,000 people in the street singing songs and carrying signs. Mostly say hooray for our side. It's time we stop. Hey, what's that sound, Spock? Everybody look what's going round. Uhura, open up a hailing frequency. Paranoia strikes deep into your life. It will creep. Scotty, it starts when you're always afraid. Step out of line, and the Federation comes and takes you away. We better stop. Hey, what's that sound? Everybody look what's going down. Stop. Hey, what's that sound? Everybody look what's going down. Stop now. What's that sound? Everybody look what's going down. Stop, children. What's that sound? Beam me up. What a field day for the heat.
All right, folks, that's our election day coverage for right now. So in about a half hour at 9 o'clock Pacific time, I will be on Crosstalk with Peter Lavelle. Thank you for joining us. We had over 741 likes, right on, everybody. And shout out to Kate, our moderator, J.H. Scott. So are polls junk science? Yeah, they're just another way to manipulate everybody. Warren lost to progressives forever trying to please the Dem swamp and will get nothing from it and lose their primary reelection. Yeah. Thank you all. Backyard politics. Just saw the Salem has SWAT on call. Stay safe, everybody. They are pushing us into, they want a civil war. They want madness in the streets. They want things to go nuts the next couple of days. So be ready. Stay safe. Stay safe. They're pushing us. The ruling class has manipulated us yet again. And they're getting us to fight with each other because that's what the ruling class needs. Because if we all got together, it's over. And they know it. They know it. That's why anytime somebody unites everybody, like Fred Hampton, leader of the Black Panther Party in the late 1960s, united white, Southern white people, Southern working class white people, many of whom openly racist, Confederate flags. He got them to realize that it was capitalism was creating racism. He united these people, Black Panthers and Southern whites, and they killed him for it. That's what happens. Thank you so much. Stay safe out there. If I'm not live later tonight, I will absolutely be live tomorrow. You're all making Gotham great again. There's going to be some victories. There's going to be some victories today and some ballot measures. And let me know in your state all the cool ballot measures that got passed, because those are all significant. What's up, Cat B? Good to see you. Stay safe, everybody. The Dem Party will never learn. Maybe they need to go away like the Whigs, the Whig Party. I don't know. Thanks for watching. The stream will be available on Rockfin Premium and on Patreon at the $10 level. Thank you for supporting what I do. I appreciate it. And remember, shave your knuckles for justice. Florida minimum wage increase just won. Awesome. That's good news. There's good news out there. We'll see what happens in the next couple days. Stay safe, everybody. Shave your knuckles for justice. You're all political vigilantes, and you're all making Gotham great again.